Ahoy, every nerds, and welcome to Sea of Souls, brought to you by the Elder Braincast. We are the Elder Braincast, here to play some Dungeons and Dragons in a homebrew nautical campaign theme. Thanks for joining us. Welcome. If you're joining us live, even better because you get to be a part of our live chat, which I think is pretty cool. We have a nice, cool, interactive chat, and it's lots of fun. Before we jump into tonight's game, just a couple of quick announcements. First one is last week we did our Monster March where we created a Octo Brain thing, and we will be releasing that. But if you want to have exclusive first access to that, then you need to join our Discord. Members of our Discord server will get that before we post it anywhere else. So please join the Discord, and you will be able to get that full stats and all with some super awesome art by Mike, with some alternate art by Ian as well. So yeah, check that out. That's again, Discord server, you get first crack at it. So please, you can go to our link tree and find the links to all of our socials there. Look forward to seeing you in our community. Second thing I want to just do a quick plug for tonight. I don't know if how much of y'all have seen, if you're familiar with Humble Bundle. Humble Bundle is a really cool thing, site online that does all kinds of stuff. Like, it's not just games, but they do all sorts of packages where companies put their stuff in for this bundle, and then proceeds of it go to charity. Right now, they are doing a Stand with Ukraine bundle where 100% of the proceeds go to a couple of different charities that are helping out Ukraine, and that's something that's it's a cause that's near and dear to my heart. Wanting to support Ukraine and the people that are suffering there, and just to see this war stop, honestly. But it's a really awesome bundle. You get over 123 items. There are huge games in there. There's you can get the Pathfinder 2 full edition. You can get Starfinder. You can get music editors, and there's 3D printable files. If you have like items on your Steam wish list that you're just been waiting and like, one of them is probably in this bundle, and you can get a whole bunch of things. And it's for Canadian, it's super cheap. I think it's like $51 for the base, but you can pay up words of that as well, and 100% of the proceeds again all go to Ukraine. So I really encourage you to check that out. I've already installed like a bunch of the content from it, and it's really awesome. I can't plug it enough. Not affiliated, not official, not sponsored. We're not connected with Humble Bundle. This is just a personal plug because I really love what they're doing with this bundle. I think it's a good cause and a good deal. So check it out. You will not be disappointed. All right, I think that is all for that. And without further ado, we'll jump in to our session. So let's weigh anchor, mateys.
Whispers in the window are angry waves. Way ho the sea of souls. Down to the mists as the ocean slaves. Way ho the sea of souls. Way ho the sea of souls. Way ho the sea of souls. Hoist the sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Oh, way ho the sea of souls. Way ho the sea of souls. Hoist the sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Sea of souls.
Right. Kicking off this week's session, we will recap what has brought us to where we are. Last session, after being forced to flee Ebonport, now under the control of a mutinous, dark portion of the forces at the Ivory Spire, you set sail for Valtear, or Tyr, as it was known to the north, and not long after finding your heading and setting sail, you spotted a strange ship on the horizon with dark sails covered by mist and fog and seemingly moving without the aid of wind, soon revealing itself to be none other than the dread ghost ship, the Asuna, which was on a direct intercept course for you. With a little bit of grunt work on the oars from Torque and some full sails aided by magic as well, you did manage to outrun the Asuna as it chased you down, entering into Desfuna's Rim, a protected bay adjacent to the Sea of Souls. And after escaping your ghostly predator, you sail towards the port of Valtear, where you were met by the captain of the guard, a woman named Willa, who informed you that you would be allowed to dock. However, you would not be allowed to enter the high town, the part of the town up on the plateau, as there are some things going on in the city. But you were given permission to dock. You pick up as you prepare to dock, exhausted and ready for a reprieve. As the mooring lines are fastened and the planks drop to the dock, a lone, lanky Malkin, one of the catfolk, dressed in salt-worn attire, approaches with a sheet of vellum and a pen in hand. Her black fur is spotted with patches of brown here and there, and her eyes are a deep green, reminiscent of storm-tossed waves. She takes note of the ship's name on the prow, writes it down, and then approaches the bottom of the planks turned into ramp. Kind of takes a look at the ship. I am Harbormaster Ashai. Which of you is captain?
Big glowy guy.
That would be me.
And your name, please, captain?
My name is Dinar.
Donar. Captain Donar of Radiant Dawn.
That's with two A's.
Excellent.
What? One N, two A's.
Right, okay. Captain Donar, how long will you be staying in dock? It is 2 gold flat for 1 week's berth. If it is shorter time, then we will charge per day. How long would you like to be here?
Dinar will kind of look around at the group. We hadn't really discussed how long we were planning on staying. Put us down for 2 weeks.
Okay. That'll be 4 gold then, please.
Yeah. Dinar will pull it out of his pocket.
Oh, big spender. All right.
All right, your ship will be secure here and guarded. We have patrols walking the port at all times. Do you have any cargo for trade? Anything to sell, to barter, or are you just here for other purposes?
We are
Family.
passing through, looking for a place to settle down for a couple of weeks.
See, one of her ears just kind of twitches a little bit. And you chose Valtear, okay. I'll not question it. Writes down.
Well, I mean, there was the spooky ghost ship, too. Like, we didn't have a hell of a lot of choice.
Well, yeah, it chased us up here. So,
It's faced by the Asuna.
yes.
And you lived. You are lucky then, luckier than most. Well,
We
in
are.
that case,
We are
Welcome to
big
Valtear.
damn heroes, is what we are.
all right. Well, you have no cargo, that's fine. Do you need a resupply? You need us to top up your resources, anything like that? We'll add to your docking berth price.
We resupplied when we left Ivory Spire, right?
Believe we did.
I
You did?
believe so.
Okay.
You have
And
you
how
have 4
long?
weeks of
Yeah.
supplies, and it took you about 2 days, give or take, to get roughly 2 days to get to
we're
your
okay
Valtear.
then.
We're okay for now. Maybe if we stay longer, we might need a resupply, depending on how much of our own food we eat.
Not a problem. All right. Well, welcome to Valtear. You are free to, I guess, go wherever the captain said you are going, and we will take care of securing your ship here. So, nice to meet you. She
Thank
takes the
you.
4 gold, just kind of bounces it, puts it in her pocket, and walks off. Sees to some other business. You can see a couple of dock hands moving some carts and boxes around. She just kind of makes her way over there and
Now,
starts
Torque
talking to them.
has a level of exhaustion from last
Indeed.
session. So, finding, where we're staying for the night is probably a priority for him at the moment. And then come what may after that. But for the road ahead, he definitely kind of wants to have his wits about him. So, that's sort of where he would be headed.
Gotcha.
Just remind me, why are we in tier again? It's something for Torque
And Tayland.
and Taylor. Okay.
Although Tayland is...
Also the ghost ship.
Well,
the ghost ship drove us here, but we were coming up here anyways before we stopped at the Ivory Spire for Torque, and then for Tayland, sort of. If memory serves me, Tayland wasn't exactly like front with his information. Yeah, forthcoming with his information, but he was also interested in coming up here, if my memory serves me right.
So we're overtly here for Torque and covertly for Taylor. Gotcha.
There you go.
Maybe you guys can remind me. I've got a bunch of stuff
I've
in my
here
treasure
because of
list
it.
on my character sheet. I think we've gotten rid of a lot of it, though. So the blue shards, the 5 blue shards that I had, I traded those, right? Like they're gone? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think those went to Joran.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think so, too. There was the bottle with the parchment inside. Do we still have that? I believe we do.
Unless you've traded it off, which you haven't. No,
I don't recall trading that off.
I don't see how we would have traded that.
That's more of a like a trinket type heirloom type thing that you found. That
Okay.
Yeah.
All of the Axiom stuff is gone, right? That stuff went to the boons?
Except for the shield and my
Correct.
gun.
Except for the shield, yes.
We didn't really get that much say in handing it over either. Not that we and
that's yeah, they were taken from us, yeah.
We didn't have much. That was taken care of for us.
The Ring of Keys from the Dwarven Torturer, we would have already used those, so there's no reason to have them anymore. The Green Dragon Scale, do we still have that?
And you were going to potentially sell it to the Spire, but did not.
But we never got around to that, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so we still have
Still
that. All
do
right.
have it in your possession.
Some other things
Cool.
got in the way of that.
Okay.
Minor inconveniences, though.
You had you had spoken to I believe it was
Had we spoken to
you've spoken to Ganymede
the
in Ivory Spire Port about potential to sell it, and then you were going to meet up with them and stuff happened, so
right.
Boy, did it ever.
Right.
so you do still have that.
Okay. All right, well, we're all pretty exhausted. Torque needs a nap. Is there anything else we want to do in town before we settle down for the night?
Well, I'll say it. Talon needs booze, so
I wasn't going to say anything, but I figured,
Yes. All things considered, perhaps a private booth at the tavern would be preferable for tonight.
Ooh.
Sure thing.
story time. I like story time.
Does that mean you're buying?
Sure.
Excellent. So where we want to go is a place called the Captain's Cabin.
So you've been here before.
We took a stop here in Captain Boone's ship before we picked up Torque.
Okay.
I am quite familiar with the various drinking establishments.
This
I
is my
assume you've
surprise
been-
face.
I assume you've been thrown out of most at least once.
It's not a proper tavern unless you've been thrown out at least once. Anyway, we want to go to the Captain's Cabin. That's going to be the best place we can go, especially if you're buying.
I have no arguments. Anyone else?
I'll just be happy to be somewhere without that piped in music and no prying eyes.
Palin,
Very well.
Aye, sir.
give me a history check if you would, please.
I can do that. I know the dumb histories. 16.
16. You, as you're kind of speaking it, you're trying to think back to your time in tier, and you know your memory's part sober, part inebriated.
Oh, yeah.
You do recall that the captain's cabin, at least as far as you remember, is in Hightown.
Okay.
So you may not have access to it. You might, but you might not.
Well, You know what? We can certainly try. If all else fails, we can go to the Brine and Dine.
All right.
Would I
So
know
you-
why? Like, would I know if there are any rules to the? Like, is it like I'm assuming that's where like all the nobility hang out.
You were told by Captain Willa that Hightown is currently off limits to visitors,
Ah, yes, that's right. Okay.
and there was no reason given, just simply as visitors that you were forbidden, or that it was closed.
Well, we can find out why, maybe.
Maybe somebody in the bar can give us some insight.
Yeah, we'll give it a shot. If for whatever reason we can't get in, then the good old Brine and Dine will be a perfectly good substitute, I suppose.
Looking out or inward, I guess, to Valtear from the docks. It's a really interesting location, as on both the north and south ends of town, there are high plateaus, cliffs going up 200-300 feet. And so there's this kind of little veil that goes deep, deep, deep beyond the city, but it's kind of nestled in this crook between these two high plateaus. There's another plateau sort of towards the back of the town that leads further back into this cleft. And so you've got this lower harbor area and then an upper plateau, which obviously seems to be Hightown. Even from here, you can see that there are walls going along the edge of this plateau ridge that are separating the two areas. Torque, it's built up quite a bit more since the last time we were here. One thing you would notice immediately are the increased number of defensive structures and walls and the like. They've greatly fortified.
That is something that Torque would absolutely notice.
From where you're standing, there's sort of a main thoroughfare that leads straight ahead, kind of cutting through the low parts of town. And you can see at the far end that there are stairs, a set of steps that lead up to an arch in the wall, a gated arch in the wall that would lead up to Hightown. That would be your most obvious avenue of approach.
Torque will not lead the way on this one. He'll sort of defer and just sort of like walk near the back of the group.
All right, Talon, lead the way.
Right, this way, fellas.
So as you walk along the main thoroughfare, you do see that there are guards posted at regular intervals, sort of at alleyways, sort of cut some of the cross sections of street. There's a few that are on patrol. They're not overly on edge, like on alert. They just kind of seem to be a regular presence there. It seems to be sort of standard fare for the town. You do get a few stares from the guards and from some of the folk as well, as obviously you're not locals, and given the nature of some of you as well, physical status and whatnot, also draws a few kind of lingering glances. Torque, you do notice one or more of them here and there, kind of lingering a little bit longer, just kind of watching you. For the moment, none seem outwardly hostile, just sort of a kind of open eye, just kind of watching, like.
Anyone who's paying attention to Torque will see him, like, his eyes kind of move around and like occasionally notice someone staring at him and then just quickly like look away.
I'd say Talon with his 20 passive perception would definitely note that.
How are people, like, if our mode of dress stands out, how are people dressed here? Is
where you are pretty common folk. Like from Lowtown, there's kind of a mix and match of, working class, merchant class. Definitely, you can see it's more kind of sailor type, a little bit of everything. You can definitely see parts kind of off behind down the alleys, darkened alleys where there's, more kind of squalor. There's beggars here and there as well. So it kind of seems to be your I don't want to say typical, but sort of typical port side mix and mash of everything. You do not see a whole lot of, aristocracy or upper crust in these parts. One or two people walk by that seem to have, a little bit nicer shirt, clean pressed. That's obviously got some quality to it, but nobody of like, obvious wealth.
Are there any other ships in port aside from what perhaps might be like Navy?
There were a couple of smaller ships. Even though yours as a catch is probably on the smaller end as far as large vessels go. There's a couple schooners. Mostly nothing that would be long distance. There's like local fishing ships, things that would probably run, short distances, individual sailing ships, that kind of thing. So at the moment, yours is definitely the largest ship that has entered port.
Okay.
Which, given the nature of things on the Sea of Souls, isn't all that surprising. Travel is down. For some reason. Ghost ships or something else. Sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Tayland, if we're going to try and bum rush our way into Hightown, what's appropriate dress for this joint? I don't want to get us tossed out before we even get in.
Yeah, I guess if we go in looking the way we do, it's probably going to be quite obvious that we're not supposed to be here, isn't it?
Like, first and foremost, is green skin going to be a problem?
I wouldn't think so.
Right.
Out of everybody, I feel like Dinar is going to be the most standoutish.
I'm the one that probably has the best chance to get us in there now.
I mean, you were greeted by a Malkin, like, beast folk, cat folk.
Yeah,
like that.
I'm just thinking more so because he's a very specific type of dragonborn.
True.
We want to, well, first things first. Flick, you need to take a bath. Torque, you need to lessen up on the rope and the anchor thing. And I'm going to have to go and do a little bit of self-maintenance.
While you're there, you might want to work on the alcoholism.
Physically.
Oh. Fair.
Right out.
Once we secure a room, I can store my belongings in there.
That right, but see, okay. Are you asking Flick because you have some new razzle dazzle spell that can make us razzle dazzle into somebody that should look like we're supposed to be razzle dazzling here?
No, I have an old razzle dazzle spell that can make me look like I need to look. So,
okay, well, you can just razzle dazzle yourself into someone who looks like that guy.
I'd say, Taylor, since you have been here before as well, you likely know that there is a public bathhouse not too far from the docks.
Okay, but see, if we go to the public bathhouse, we'll get kicked out for turning it black.
Doesn't one of you have that spell that just magically cleans things?
Well, I got something. We find a back alley and
I cast
bust out the spiritual swabby.
Spiritual swabby. Just a mop,
just mop you down
all over your face.
That's right.
Awesome.
I could have sworn there was some sort of spell called Preston's Twitchy Nation or something like that.
Oh yeah,
prestidigitation. Yeah.
No, it sounds platonic to me.
Would that not be sufficient?
I suppose it could. Yeah, I could.
You can use it to like clean up, remove grime, make things.
Yeah, I could clean an area about this big. So if you give me a couple hours, I could clean up your shell.
That's what I'm saying. I'll use the mop. It'll be fine.
The mop might actually be more effective. Yeah.
Mechanics purposes.
Yes.
Mechanics purposes. It's a cantrip.
It's a cantrip.
Yeah.
So you can just.
Yeah, that's fair.
Use as much as you want.
I think that was less a measure of spell slots, more just a measure of like the surface area that needs to be clean.
Or willingness.
All right, now lift your arm. Okay, other one.
But if you are looking for somewhere specific to clean up, yes, your options would be the public bathhouse. The Brine and Dine does have rooms and wash tubs and stuff like available as well. It's one of the like tavern / inns, like it doubles as both.
Is one of those things where there's just like a wooden tub and they bring like a kettle of hot water to your room?
We have to find out.
Kettle of water and a sponge.
Are we starting with a bath or are we starting with a good night's sleep?
Hmm.
I vote good night's sleep, personally.
We still got to go to at least somewhere to get a room and to get a drink. So regardless, I guess this means we're going to Brine and Dine, and then we'll check out the rest of the town later.
Sure.
Sounds good. Let's
This is amenable.
We've been hard sailing for 2 days. I feel like a good rest is better.
Torque's looking like he's ready to fall over, to be honest.
Be that as it may, now that we have arrived in Tyr, there are certain things that I need to discuss with you all before we go forward.
Do you think if I poke him slightly, he'll fall over on his shell?
I might fall on you.
Oh, okay.
I
Well,
don't think Taylor could ever poke him hard enough to knock him. Like poking a brick wall. Oh.
all right. This sounds like it needs fizzy drinks and hot food. Let's get this done.
Brine and Dine?
Yep.
All right.
Yes, and go. Let's go.
Proper food.
So the tavern / inn, so named, is closer down, sort of off the main throughway to the docks. And outside, the sign is a picture of a bowl that has sort of like barnacles and stuff on the side of it, and it's got like this like wave kind of coming out of the inside. So the brine of the sea with the dining of the bowl, and it's got the letters are kind of fancily scrawled above that. You can hear some very cheery music coming from inside. Seems to have a very lively atmosphere, and you can see a number of individuals coming and going. You do see stationed at the front as well a not overly large human man, but definitely got a good amount of bulk to him, just kind of standing there, classic bouncer style. So it looks like they've got some security in place as well, and he's just kind of watching and not really stopping anybody from going in or out. He just seems to be sort of more there to let people know that there is a presence. And as you approach, he just kind of looks all over all you, and just kind of gives a nod, gives the head shake in as in like, yep, you're welcome, go ahead.
Or we'll tip his imaginary hat and walk in.
Excellent.
Click, make it non-imaginary.
Oh yeah, minor illusion. A proper hat on your head.
Give him a tricorn.
I need to get a tricorn for Dinar.
That's when we hit level 10. That's when we get our season 2 glow ups.
Inside the main common area, you see plenty of tables. There's a very large hearth at the far end of the room that is blazing bright, giving a nice warm glow, kind of smell of wood smoke, and just a pleasant atmosphere to the room. There are, seafaring elements. There's a couple of of helms up on the wall. There's some netting and stuff. Very, very aquatic seafaring themed, kind of all over the place. Some of the poles seem to be taken from old masts, where you can actually still see some of the rigging marks and things that would have been used at the time, still in place. Some of them even still have some of the hooks and other things that would have been used. And so it's really like embracing this seafaring theme, and it's just full of life. Nobody really seems to pay you much attention as you enter. There's all variety of sorts in here from various different backgrounds, and yeah, it's a pretty decent place. You don't smell any urine, which is always a good sign. And the smell of ale isn't like overly stale. There's a couple of different smells in the air. You can smell kind of a mulled cider, some warmer scents, some a little fresher scents. You can smell the baked bread, variety of foods. So it can be like assault on the senses since there's so much, but it's all good stuff.
Yeah, I like salt on everything.
Flick is missing the urine smell.
Do there appear to be any sort of like private booths or like back rooms available that we could rent out for a premium?
Yep. So simple enough. Just kind of one of the servers kind of walks by and indicates that there are some rooms at the back. So the normal fare for a decent meal here would be 1 gold for the table. But if you want private, then it's double.
Mm-hmm. And because we're in a large group, I assume there's an automatic 20% gratuity.
I mean, tips are appreciated, but you know how it is.
Is there a chance
Yeah.
we can get a discount if we give them a good show and entertain and draw in some crowd? Or, conversely, if we happen to catch the rat infestation that is totally true, that actually is happening?
The server just kind of gives you like roll of the eyes, be like, another one of you guys. Look, we got great music here.
I
We
beg
got
to
no
differ.
rats.
I beg to differ.
I'll pay for everything tonight.
You're welcome to find
Taylor.
somewhere else to eat then.
Tayland, please don't get us kicked out. We just got here.
Torque will just sort of sidle up to the server and just be like, I will pay for everything tonight. It's quite all right.
All right, well, follow me. I'll bring
You
back
heard the
to,
man.
How big a room are we looking for? Something a little bit cozy, intimate, or a little bit of space to dine and stretch your legs?
Space.
Say we're coworkers. We don't need cozy.
Something that would lend itself to a private conversation, ideally.
Noted. One with a nice solid door. We got a couple of those open at the moment. Follow me.
Please.
He just leads you back, sort of at the very, very back beside the hearth. There's a hallway off to the right-hand side. Very well lit, and as you go back in there, you see a number of doors off to the side. You can hear some muttered conversations. They do seem to be very thick doors, kind of built for that exclusive, privacy. Very well taken care of, and the door he leads you to is a nice, solid, kind of reddish oak door. That's just got the number 4 on it, and you look back and you see that each number does seem to be, or room does seem to be numbered. And he just kind of opens the door. There's a oval table that's got sort of a U-shaped booth along the back wall, and then some other chairs around it. Looks like it could probably fit about 6 or 8 people. This is a decent size. And there's a nice warm glow. You can see there's actually some venting that would seem the heat from the main hearth is vented throughout the building in various ways. And so it's got that nice, not overly hot because it's, tropical, but enough to kind of keep that night chill off the sea. It's very cozy.
If Torque wanted to pay up front, what's the damage on that?
Oh, if you're looking for the just the room and your standard fare meal, it's going to be 2 gold. If you want anything extra fancy, then depends on what you're
Perhaps a bottle of wine.
If you're going for a good bottle of wine, it's going to cost you 10. Or if you want the cheap stuff, that'll be 4.
10 is fine. So that's 12 gold pieces total.
10 gold. All right. We've got a Stormhaven brandy that's just came in about 3 months ago. So you don't usually expect the dwarves to make good brandy and wine, but this one's a good bottle. I promise you.
That sounds perfect. Thank you.
Not a
Torque
problem.
will just empty a stack of coins into his hand.
Are you counting the coins?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
12 is a pretty big stack already.
Yep. I just thought you were just like, here, take it.
Oh,
He
make
looks
sure
it all
some of the
over and just like, all right. We'll send your food in shortly. Would you like us to give a knock before we enter with your fare? Just out of care for your privacy.
Yes, please.
Noted.
make sure there's some green bread and brown fruit, please.
y'all. I mean,
Okay,
we got the day old stuff that we normally.
Flick gets bread and brains confused all the time.
He has a complicated palate.
He does. The rest of us have a normal palate. So
Yes, please.
I think I might be able to scratch up some goblin fare for you. We'll see.
Excellent.
We'll be right back. And he leaves.
I like this guy.
Kind of slowly closes the door behind him.
as soon as he shuts the door, Dinar's going to make his way to the corner of the table, wherever we are. He's going to pull out his components, and he's going to start casting Detect Magic.
Okay.
Give me a couple minutes, boys. If we need to have a private conversation, let's make sure they're not listening in on the room.
Make sure it's actually a private conversation.
Exactly.
Not a bad idea.
We'll do a Torque will also do a non-magical sweep just to check for things like, holes in the walls and things like that.
Certainly. So I will get
I take a quick glance around the room with my passive 20 perception.
Gotcha. So Torque, give me a thorough investigation check then, if you're going kind of more all out. Talon, with your passive perception, you don't spot anything unusual. The size of the room seems appropriate. The wall, the paneling. There doesn't seem to be any kind of anything that captures you as a place where something would be hidden or anything like that. It's very well taken care of, very well maintained, clean. You can see that the walls have been washed fairly recently.
My thorough investigation yielded a thorough 12.
Okay. You are actually exhausted, so that's actually going to be a disadvantage.
I'll re-roll.
This is where you bust a nat 20 out.
Well, they were exactly the same. So,
so you take a look around, and you're not quite in your, best state of mind, but to your knowledge, as you give a scan and kind of poke a couple walls, and you don't see any holes or looking or listening spots, anything like that. It seems pretty good.
All right. In that case, we probably just wait for the food and drink to arrive before we get settled. Is that right? I imagine that the 10 minutes it takes Dinar to, ritual cast the spell probably.
Yeah, I think combination 10 minutes of him to cast a spell, me to look around, you to look around. I think that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So after the 10-minute mark, as you cast your spell, Dinar, you do not detect any sources of unknown magic. Obviously, the sources you're aware of from your, items and stuff of your party, but in the immediate vicinity around you, 30 feet, which encompasses the entire room, no pings.
Well, no magical means of listening in on a conversation.
Excellent. And I'm pretty sure there ain't no actual ears or eyes peeking in either. So I think we're okay, unless these walls are really bad at keeping sound in. We can do a quick check of that if you want. See if they'll come in and tell us to knock down the noise. Just give me a second here.
I like that your mic filters out so much background noise that it sounded like it was happening. Genuinely 3 rooms over.
While you guys were doing your stuff, Flick has taken another sheet of vellum, and he's now folded a tricorn hat out of paper and set it in front of Dinar.
Awesome.
I will do the same thing, but make a paper football and then use cantrips to cause it to fly around the room.
Oh.
Amazing.
Do you think this will fit on my head? It's a little on the small side.
No, you just have a big head.
If you sort of wedge it onto one of the spikes, it will sort of hold in place.
It'll sit in a jaunty manner. It'll look beautiful. Trust me.
It's more of a proof of concept than anything else.
Ornamental for now, but we'll get the real thing. Don't you worry.
You hear knock on the door.
Torque opens the door.
Two individuals, one smaller halfling woman and looks like a young male human boy. They both kind of come in with a couple plates of food, one bringing the bottle. And the halfling speaks up. Hey, we got your food for you. Will that be everything, or would you like anything else?
If we need anything else, I will make a request at the front of the restaurant. Thank you.
Very good, sir. May we come in and put it on the table for you?
Yes, by all means.
They come in and lay it out. There's cutlery. Immediately the sense of fresh bread. Fresh bread. Fresh bread.
I hope there's that later. Yeah.
There's a couple of stews that seem to be included with the main fare ones. More of a chowder one's kind of like a beef vegetable broth type thing. There's various cuts of beef and different meats. There's pile of vegetables and one basket that's got, it's not green, but it is sort of like a stale, harder bread, and some like
I put a couple of wraps on the edge of the table, just
some browning carrots, and cheese that looks like it's a little bit softer than it should be.
You pick up the carrot and it just flops.
Yeah.
Now this is proper dining. You done good, kid. I'll flip them a silver piece each.
The halfling woman, she kind of takes it like, thank you, sir, and puts it in her pocket. The kid looks and he goes, oh, thank you. Yeah. Anything at all? Anything to get you? And the woman just kind of like grabs him by the shirt and tells him out like, come on, Thomas. And they close the door and leave you to your meal.
The brandy also arrived, right?
Correct.
Torque will take the bottle and
Brandy.
just with like a flick of his thumb claw, just pop out the cork and then go around the table and almost just kind of like ritualistically, like holding the bottle in two hands, just pour a generous amount into everyone's glasses and then sits down.
Call this generous?
A little bit more for Tayland.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, guys, he's going to talk for a long time. This is definitely an occasion worth drinking for.
Torque kind of takes his own cup of brandy and just kind of like cups it in both of his leathery hands and just kind of stares down at it on the table for a time before finally speaking up. The four of us have been traveling together for some time now. You all have welcomed me into this crew that we've made of ourselves, and for that I am thankful. And it is for this reason that I have requested that we have this meeting now that we are in Valtear. I have not been completely honest with any of you, by which I mean that I have withheld certain reasons for why coming here was a priority for me. And so I thought that the four of us could, at the very least, have one last meal together before I offer you all a choice. And depending on how you respond, this may be where we part ways.
But you can't just say that and then stop talking. I mean, now I'm really interested.
I mean, little guy, it's going to have to be something pretty wild to scare this lot off. So spill the beans. Come on.
That's very true too. Yes. Hold on. Is this going to be a 12 pinter or a 6 pinter kind of thing?
Torque just kind of looks down at his own drink and doesn't really respond, but just nudges the bottle closer to Tayland.
But now I'm really curious.
have not spoken much about my life before.
There's more to that sentence. Okay.
Before washing up on that island, and this is for good reason. I am not proud of the person that I was before my years in exile. I was a thief, a pirate, a murderer of innocent people. And it is where we are now that my past self died, and through the strange, unknowable decision of Disfuna, I was reborn and offered a chance of redemption. In a way that I suppose this would be a pilgrimage of sorts. I am not a good person. In fact, I would even go so far as to say that I may be a danger and a liability to this crew, both for who I was and for what I feel I must do moving forward in order to atone for what I've done. You have a sizable crew now, Captain. I do not hesitate to say that I think that you would likely get on just fine without me. So the choice that I offer, if you decide that you do not wish to associate with a scoundrel such as myself for any longer, I will continue on my way with no hard feelings. And I wish you and the rest of the Radiant Dawn the best.
Lenar's going to kind of sit back in his chair. Look, Torque. If I'm kicking anybody out of this crew for being a scoundrel, it's Talon first. So, let me just start there. One point of clarification, though, about your story. You said you were reborn. Are we talking metaphorically? Or are we talking literally?
Spiritually, man.
Sure.
More spiritually, yes.
Scoundrel.
Denar's gonna shoot Talon to look. You're joking, right?
It does sound kind of sexy.
I was thinking more pervasive annoyance, but yeah, scoundrel works too. So,
Tomato, tomato.
yeah.
Anyway, about this pirate thing.
Yeah, I mean, little guy, we've all, shanked people in back alleys now and again. Like, that's just something people do, right? What?
No?
Oh. Well, listen, I understand where you're coming from, and I think I've been bettering myself a little bit too. So we can go on this journey of self-discovery together. If you'll have me, we'll have you. That's my vote.
Torque kind of pauses for a second before he continues. You see his Adam's apple kind of bob a little bit before he speaks again. You're all a fine crew. Much finer than a crusty old curmudgeon like myself deserves. Thank you for...
Oh, you don't look a day over 100.
Thank you for continuing to have me as a part of your crew. My past is something which I am not eager to relive, although as part of staying here, I think I may be forced to confront it in more ways than one. Captain, with your permission, there is something that I have to do tomorrow. Somewhere I have to go.
Somewhere you have to go alone?
You may come with me if you wish, but alone or with others, it is somewhere I have to go regardless. I must visit the temple of Desfuna and see if I can find the woman whose life I spared the night that my previous crew laid siege to this island.
Well,
How do you like that?
our options are either try to break into Hightown or stand by a crewmate that needs some help.
Hey, Dinar, you may want to start asking for criminal record checks when you hire people.
Like, you need a criminal record to be part of the crew, because that's
That's what I was saying. Exactly, that's what I was thinking. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, need to verify that you've got a criminal record. That's important.
You're running from anything? No, why? Why would
I mean, I only have a bunch of misdemeanors. That still counts.
We noticed there's a 2-year gap between now and your last felony. Can you tell us what you were doing during that time?
I was really trying to clean up my act, trying to do some good for the society. Yeah, you're not right for this crew.
Oy.
Well, I mean, I don't know what kind of things you may have gotten up to, although I can get a pretty good idea. I'd be curious to know just how bad you think you were versus how bad you actually were. And also, I kind of owe you my life. So,
All of us do.
I may not be, the most honorable, chivalrous knight out there, but hey, honor among thieves, as they say.
Well, if you join me tomorrow, then there is a chance that you may find out more about me than you may ever wish to know. So I will not make you feel obligated to join me on this pilgrimage.
Well, I'll tell you.
Although
what,
your presence would be appreciated.
If it's truly horrid, and you deserve a swift kick and a punch and possibly a bullet into the foot, I can be there for you.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Tayland. You are a true friend.
Always there for you, buddy.
Look, Torque, all of us in our past have done things that, let's just say we're not exactly proud of. While I don't know all of your histories...
You don't know that.
I don't know all of your histories.
So how do you know that we've all done things that we regret?
Because that seems to be the crew that we are.
How do you know it's not things we haven't done that we regret?
Tayland!
Just saying, I'm trying to keep this thing accurate.
Torque, I had a point. Tayland derailed me. Look.
Freshen your drink, Captain.
Sure. Here's all that I know, Torque.
That's what I'm here for.
You seem to be looking for redemption, one way or the other, from a past that you feel you've done wrong. If I believe that that's not possible for you, then I think we're all screwed. So, if going to that temple is gonna get you one step closer to that redemption, I'm with you all the way.
Mm. And by the same token, as long as you'll have me on your crew, I will promise to help the rest of you in achieving your goals as well. Be they redemption, freedom, acceptance, vengeance. My loyalty to all of you is unshakable.
That you have proven in battle many times.
I'll drink to that.
Let's drink.
You're here.
Torg raises
fair,
the glass and then just puts the full cup of brandy just down on the table and does not drink.
You gonna drink that?
Go ahead.
Don't mind if I do. I've always did like brandy. Reminds me of an ex I once had. Named Brandy with an I.
I was about to ask.
I
This is
mean,
better.
did she look all right, like with one eye, like depth perception problems, or what's the?
Brandy with an eye.
It was, well, you know, she had an eye patch. It was quite dashing.
Hmm.
Much more interesting than my last girlfriend, Eileen, who only had one leg.
Come on, Ivy.
It's dark. Anyway, Torque has kind of gotten his business out of the way for the night, so he'd probably spend the rest of the night with everyone, just, you know, eating in silence. And
Listen, Torque, whenever I feel bad about things that I have done, haven't done, or may do in the future, you know what I always do? Drink until I don't know the difference.
Well, as troubled as I am, something tells me I will not have any difficulty falling asleep tonight.
Really?
My arms are still on fire from rowing us here, so
Oh yeah, you did. Yeah. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, big day tomorrow. So, yeah, turn in when you need to, little guy. We'll hold down the fort here.
if it's all the same, I think I might retire now. The room should still be good for another hour or so, so don't call it a night on my behalf. I'll see you all in the morning.
Sounds good, Torque. We'll see you in the morning.
You know, boys, I've just realized I don't think I've ever been in a situation to be in a pub where someone has been so interested enough to sing about brandy. I think we've done it. I don't have a song for brandy.
Oh.
So it just means you have to write one.
No, you don't have a song about Brandy the drink or Brandy the girl.
I've got rum. I've got cider. I've got beers,
Drink,
gin,
okay.
vodka, whiskey. No brandy.
Well, it have to be about Brandy the girl and Brandy the drink, right? Every good sea shanty is a double entendre.
I'm sure there's one out there.
Exactly.
I'll
Yeah.
have to find it.
Mm-hmm.
Well then, two
Briny
quiet
Brandy.
evenings.
Yeah.
I mean, I have 4 for whiskey.
That fits.
Well, of course.
All right, so the three of you, after Torque leaves, anything other than stuffing your faces and
Yeah,
drinking your sorrows?
we're all gonna talk about Torque behind his back now.
I was going to
So-
say when... Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go for it.
When Torque gets to his room at whatever inn we're staying at for the night, he'd probably just close the door behind him and just sort of in his mind, just kind of like, not sure if Desfuna will hear or not, but just kind of close his eyes and just think to himself, like, did I do the right thing in telling them?
The Brine and Dine does have rooms as well.
That's probably where we're
catch-all.
staying.
Yeah.
I would admit that was kind of
That
what I
was
was
my
thinking.
assumption,
Yeah.
But yeah, Torque would just sort of like say a short prayer to Desfuna, just basically asking her, did I do the right thing by telling them all of that?
Okay. Gotcha. Oh, what do you guys think of Torque's Granado that he just threw at us?
I mean, it's been pretty obvious that he's been sitting on a big egg for a while here, so I'm glad he's finally hatching it.
Flick, I love your brain.
And he didn't say the S word, so I think we're cool. You know, you can pillage and plunder and murder and steal to your heart's content, but as long as you're not dealing people.
Ah, that S word, yes.
Mm-hmm. Then I think everything else is copacetic.
I think it's going to depend on the context for some of this stuff, because when you're a pirate, I mean, what do you classify as murder?
Yeah, I don't make that kind of distinction. It's too...
See, that's the thing. Because if he's like, I went onto the streets and I shot random people, I don't know about that. But if it's like, well, I mean, I got a couple songs about murder that I could sing that seem justified from certain points of view. It's going to depend entirely upon that. I guess we'll find out tomorrow, but Captain.
Yes.
Is there a line that if he's crossed it, we're going to have a discussion? Like, let's say you found out that one of your old Gundren dwarf buddies, who was a sailor for some time and got killed by pirates, was one of the people he murdered.
Well,
wouldn't that be dramatic?
let me say this. Pirates and naval ships, that's basically war. And while I wouldn't like it, if Torque was part of a crew that, maybe you got stuck with them, and that happened to be the outcome of a battle, and Torque was the one that pulled the trigger, as you would say. I don't know. I think we've all got things in our past that we're not exactly proud of, so...
I'm
not saying it would be easy, but I'm saying that if we can forgive him, then there's an opportunity for forgiveness for all of us, right?
When talking specifically about murder, there are certainly certain motives and reasonings that I believe would be quite justified. So murder by itself is something that is very contextual and negotiable. It's just the little detail of the context, I think, that matters.
At this, Dinar's going to get up and get to the other side of the table and sit directly across from Tayland. Both elbows on the table.
That's very rude, you know.
I don't care.
Boy.
Look, Tayland, Torque has been very forthright with his reasons for wanting to be here. You also wanted to be here. You haven't really given us a lot of detail.
Blake hasn't told us about who he stabbed in an alley.
I'm not really concerned about that.
Yeah, I think
it's a great story. I'll tell you sometime.
See, he wants to talk. You, on the other hand, don't seem interested in sharing. Could you humor me a little bit? Why do you want to be here in Tyr?
Not necessarily Tyr, it's the proximity to its location on the overall map of the world, as it were. You see, Tyr, you see, there's this thing called a compass, right? It's got different directions. I think it's called a rose. Anyway, on the northern side of that is a bunch of stuff, and Tyr is near it. And so if I want to go north, and I'm looking for things in the north, Tyr is the place that I can start asking some of those questions.
And
This brandy's really good.
what might those questions be? Says one of your concerned crewmates and captain.
My first question would be, does a compass work on a flat world? But I'm not here, so never mind.
It's a mighty fine question.
Yes.
Magnetic north? How does
I feel like you
It's
just have a,
magic.
They'd be
you just have a
different.
giant mountain made out of magnet.
Magic. Mike, so
Yeah.
now give me a persuasion check
Ooh. I don't think I'm good at
with
this.
advantage. With
Ooh.
advantage because Talon is drunk.
Oh yeah.
But, yay.
Uh-oh.
I like drunk Tayland when we have to talk to him.
And, Talon,
Persuasion.
Give me a let's say charisma save on this.
I'm good at that.
I hope you roll good, buddy. No, you didn't. I rolled a 20.
14.
I rolled a
wow.
20 and a 5, so 21.
Talon,
Blackjack.
Perhaps it's the forthrightness of your captain, most likely mixed with the warm, tingling buzz of the brandy, which is quite good.
Very nice.
But also the honesty with which Torque just kind of laid himself on the table. But you do feel a little bit compelled, not in a commanded way, but there's a little bit of like, you know,
Oh, we're all sharing our horrible histories here.
Well, I mean, you know, when you've had a lot to drink and you're less, you know, your filter goes,
Mhm.
for example, so you're less likely to hold in things that you should. You just kind of like,
Mhm.
Inhibitions are lowered.
yeah, you're feeling a little bit, possibly more vocal than normal.
I mean, guys, you know, it's there are some people out there, Dinar. They're the cold, hard steel of justice is trying to chase them down. You see, justice is more than a bunch of rules written on a piece of paper. Justice is an idea, and justice sometimes needs a little help from a certain cold steel, from a certain hand, and sometimes when justice needs help, you have to help it out.
So you're after vengeance.
No, justice.
Yeah, you call it justice, but it's not. Who wronged you? What did they do to you?
Have I ever told you about where I learned to pick locks?
No, I don't think so. You didn't tell me, Flick.
Yeah, no, I ain't heard none of this.
I spent most of my life on the streets, you see, because I didn't have a house. That's why you live on the streets, is because you don't have I had a house, and then I didn't. And so I had to learn to use other people's houses until somebody gave me a place to stay out of the goodness of their heart. And when you have to rely on the goodness of people's hearts to live, it gives you a perspective, you know? Like, cold world out there doesn't care about you unless somebody happens to chance upon you. And there were 20 of us living on the streets. Why did they pick me? Well, because I happened to be the one who robbed them. And they decided they were going to teach me a lesson by giving me a job. Could have been any one of the kids on the street. Just so happened to be me. They felt bad for me. Why me? I don't know. Maybe I just had one of those faces. But I had to, you know, you sleep in the streets, you see boots all over your face every now and again. You got to eat rats. You become friends with a parrot. Hang out in bars and drink your worries away. Because some people will come and they'll help you because they want to help you, because they feel bad for you. But other people will step on you. And there are more people who will step on you than will help you up. And some of the people who step on you enjoy stepping on you. And those people, you see, sometimes they need to be stepped on too. I'm just a really big boot trying to find where to put a boot print.
How exactly was it that you ended up on the street? You said you had a house and then you didn't. What happened?
Exactly.
What happened?
I had a house and I lived in it. It's pretty good too. I kind of remember almost all of it. Not. I remember where I used to hide. I had to hide because sometimes, if you're not hiding, then you get found. And then when you're found, you wish you weren't. So you have to hide in certain places in the house. And then one day, you don't have anywhere to hide. So all the people who like to step on you, they can easily do that. There's no way for them to be able to not find you because you're right there in the street or right there in the alley or right there sitting on that chair. And when you have a house, you don't have to worry about that. But see, the thing is, you got to pay for those. Houses aren't just a thing you get to have unless you make it out of a cardboard box. You have to pay for a house. And when you can't pay for a house, the guy who says you got to pay for a house decides it's his house now. And now you don't have a house. Who pays for the house? Well, the people who pay for houses tend to be the people who like to step on people because that's how you get the money to pay for the house.
That's an awfully cynical view of house ownership. Who were you hiding from?
Guy who pays for the house.
And who is that guy for you?
Guy who needs to be stepped on.
Yeah, we're going in circles at this point.
Like the inebriated state of Talen's mind is just kind of caught in this loop of like.
That's the thing. You'll get it out of me, but it's going to be coming from a very drunk person.
Well, Taland, while you seek justice in the form of vengeance,
Tomato.
perhaps with us at your side, we
Also a
can
big boot.
find a resolution to what it is that you seek.
I mean, the resolution's very easy. This. He holds up his pistol.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be involved one way or another, I'm afraid. Yeah, both you and the little guy.
You
It's
can
the
run
same
from
thing.
justice, but you can't run from the storm. I am the storm.
Yeah. He's
That
looking
is a
for
correction.
forgiveness and acceptance. You're looking for justice. I think both of you, it's going to destroy you unless you can give it to yourselves first. So with that, Flick kind of downs his drink. He's like, I'm at peace with what I've done. And what happened to me, happened to me. And I'm moving on. And I hope someday you can get to a place where you can do the same. And if you need to put bullets into people till it happens, and if one of those people happens to be yourself,
Justice requires a victim, you know. Sometimes people who are wronged deserve to have their life mean something. And other times, the people who are wronged don't get to see that justice, but instead deserve it well after they could have benefited from it.
Well, you're preaching to the choir here, man. Like, there's no arguments here. There are bad guys out there doing bad things that are getting away with it, and good guys getting squished in the process. And if you're looking to tip the scales in one way or the other, then more power to you. But I don't know. You seem a little hung up on this particular one, and that's concerning to me. I guess I'll leave it at that.
Craig, for the private booths at the Brandon Dine, how long is the like our rental deposit good for?
2 hours, like 2-3 hours, yeah.
Okay. Would someone just like come and let them know when that had like expired, or okay?
Give a knock, like pay. You got to pay more, or you're out, kind of thing. But
yeah, and
when you pay for it and you pay the extra for the food and stuff, it's usually like there's grace in there, right? Like.
I just don't know if I'm gonna find them like in the booth like the next morning or not.
Flick has not finished his drink.
I would assume we have to eventually leave the room.
Yes, they would be.
Yeah, I basically, that was my parting shot there, and it's time for me. I think go make sure that the little guy is tucked in, and I will head up. I don't even know what rooms we ended up with. I'll go figure that out.
Are we all in one room, or is it separate rooms?
You guys usually go 2 rooms, don't you? Or
yeah, that's usually what we do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Torque is in one of those. Torque is in one of those rooms.
Are they
already probably sound asleep at this point? Well, not sound asleep, but definitely unconscious.
We'll assume Torque went back by the bar. I'm just like a couple rooms with it.
Yeah.
All good.
Just slap some money on the counter.
Yeah. Rooms.
Just stumbles upstairs trying every door until he finds one that's unlocked and just crawls into one of the beds.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
here's to an interesting day tomorrow.
Here. Dinar will escort Tayland in his perhaps a little drunken state up to the room.
Dip,
okay.
Suede, heave ho, heave ho.
All right. Given the state of exhaustion that you'll find yourselves in, even without the actual exhaustion, you all do find sleep pretty easy to come by. And it's nice to be in a nice dry bed, warm. That very pleasant smell seems to be just kind of wafting through the entire place. That wood smoke.
I
you
can't say
smell,
that.
you can even smell a little bit of like there's some certain spices almost mixed in it, but like there's some maples or some, it's got a nice aroma.
I can't say that Torque's dreams are particularly pleasant that night, but after everything that's happened, he definitely does pass out as soon as his head hits the pillow.
Mm-hmm.
And Flick, knowing that both of us are dog tired, I will take the 10 minutes to ritual cast alarm on the door before I turn in, because neither of us is waking up to anything.
Noted. Excellent. All right. So as the night passes without event, as morning rolls in, Dinar, can I get you to roll a D100 for me, please?
Oh boy.
Sure can. D100.
Yes, sir.
He's got wild magic surges again.
Please no. Please no.
On the upside, you don't have hair to fall out this time.
It's true. True, and I mean, if I grow any taller, nobody's even going to notice. That's not the right dice. That was a D12. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, no,
all right, sorry.
I got 120.
That's wow, 99.
99.
90 and a 9, so 99.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
99.
99. Okay. As you wake and you open your eyes, maybe it's just your well-rested state, but everything seems a little bit crisper, a little bit sharper, a little more in focus. As you kind of blink and open your eyes and take a look around, and you can kind of see the wood grain in the planks. Colors seem a little bit brighter, have more depth to them. Interesting.
Housekeeping sneak in while you were asleep.
Is this just me or is this everybody?
This is just you.
Okay.
Palin, as you wake, and you see Dinar kind of sitting up and seemingly just kind of looking around a little bit, you immediately notice that his eyes have gone completely white. Just full on white. No pupil, just a solid white.
Wave my hand in front of his face.
You see him.
Are you in there, Captain?
Talon, does everything seem more vivid to you right now?
Actually, it's quite the opposite. But your eyes are paler than boy, I can't think right now. Your eyes are all white.
All white.
Yeah, like a piece of paper.
You know,
like the foam on a really nice amber lager.
Are you sure? Because my eyes are normally like a silver color, so
I
sure
know.
just,
I
like,
look
still
into
drunk?
them a lot. No, it's you have no pupils, for example.
Okay. Does that in fact
Are you
ping
allergic
anything
to
in my
brandy?
brain? I've had
Ping
brandy
anything in your
before.
brain?
Does the lack of pupils and the crisp vision ping anything in my brain as like some sort of a magic effect?
Moment.
So the world doesn't look more vivid, more crisp to you. Like everything is so vibrant and visible.
So that brandy did you have?
Like an eighth as much as you did.
Yeah. I mean, I still see 4 beds in this room, so I don't think I'm the right person to be asking. You should get that checked, though.
Yeah.
Oh. Dinar's gonna look around at his body. Is there anything else about him? His hands, his scales, his tail? Anything that looks out of place or different?
What did you do something? Did you talk to somebody in your dream or something? Some weird magical nonsense?
No. The only thing that's different about me than it was... But this was days ago, was the... What did she call it? The blue rot. That's the only thing that's changed about me. That was days ago.
But we fixed that.
We did fix that. Or so we thought.
Huh. We should probably see somebody, like a doctor or a wizard or something, because that did not look. That is unsettling. Let me tell you.
Look, let's just go and wake up the others and make sure
right,
that
like
you're
if I-
not just seeing things.
If I move over here and then you keep your head straight, but you use your eyes to look at me. Can you? Oh, that's freaky.
What? You already said I had no pupils, so what were you expecting?
It's just weird. Okay.
That's
I don't know what you're looking at. It's very disconcerting.
Look, let's go awake the others and make sure this is not just something. I'm not fully convinced this isn't just effects of what you drank last night.
Hey, listen. I am what? I am fine.
You're going to the room.
Yeah, I think we'll go. We'll go.
Yeah,
meet up
we'll
with the
go
others.
over.
So, as this is probably happening, Torque, since you went to bed earliest, I would imagine. I mean, you're pretty exhausted, but you're probably waking a decent time. Can I get you to roll a D100 as well, please?
You got it, Chief. It's gonna be 80 on the dot.
Okay. As you wake up, feel yourself really well rested. You kind of feel like a bit of a crick in your neck, and you kind of stand up and stretch, and you feel a little bit like kind of like an itchy sensation on your shoulder. And as you kind of feel it, it's kind of like a hard, almost feels like a crust at first. And out of the corner of your eye, I can see that there's what appears to be sort of a faint blue crystalline growth. Just a bit of a shimmer to your skin. Like a patch that just seems to be kind of hardened in it. It's like, it's not like sticking up out, but it's just like almost like a layer of like armor sort of, but it's like on the top of your skin, it just has this blue crystalline shimmer and feel to it.
Well, that's new. Torque will just kind of try and like work his thumb claw under it, see if like it gives much resistance, or if it could, if it's something that could hypothetically just be kind of like peeled off, or if
Like
it's
a
like
scab?
fully like grafted onto him.
It seems to be like, yeah, you like pierce your skin a little bit, you know, with your nail, and it seems to be actually, it's just part of you, part of your skin. Like your skin there has like mutated, has transformed and become this little bit of sort of crystalline texture.
Torque will look over at Flick, who's still asleep, and consider whether or not he wants to like disclose this, and then he just decides one thing at a time. And then just gets up and leaves the room.
Okay. Flick, would you like to wake up on your own? Or think it would take you the other two to come and knock?
Well, let me just see. I'm trying to decide whether I would have. You know what? I was being extra cagey and didn't want Torque to skip off in the middle of the night, so I had my alarm set
right.
off.
That's
even
right.
As he opens that door, then the alarm goes off. Yeah, and you go, what?
So I just stalk upright in bed. This is the first time I've ever heard this thing. What the heck? Oh, you're up.
Roll the D100 for me, please, right as
No
this happens.
shit. Here we go.
Wait, Taylor
Blam.
didn't roll.
Yeah, what's wrong with me?
You kill it with
Interesting.
booze.
I did.
34.
Turns out alcohol kills whatever this evil is.
Well, it is a solution.
So
Uh-oh.
there's this weird sensation that happens, Flick. Like
Oh no.
before you hear the alarm, it's like you pre-hear it. Like your senses kind of almost in anticipation. Like you can hear the sound before it goes off, like a split second before it goes off. So it's like you're waking up and then you kind of hear it. And as the alarm goes off and Flick kind of jumps up, Torque, you kind of look over and you notice that his ears are just twitching a little bit, seemingly on their own.
Good morning.
Hey, you headed for grub?
I suppose breakfast is in order, yes. Like, Flick, you see Torque's eyes just going back and forth, like following the twitching of your ears, but like Torque doesn't comment on it. He just watches.
And I don't know whether I've associated, whether I figured out that there's something extra going on with me, or I just assume it was the spell. I didn't do it quite
Torque-
right.
Torque's voice is very clear. And even though he's on the other side of the room, it's like you hear that, like, it's very, very clear. You can just pick it out. You can kind of pick up background noises as well. You can hear the birds outside quite crisply, and like sound has a sharpness to it.
Did this place get noisier overnight, or is that just me?
I don't notice.
As you're talking, the one ear, the ears are both turned towards you.
Are you feeling all right?
I mean, other than a little extra brandy last night, and yeah, this place is noisy as hell. I want to get back on the sea.
At this time, Palin and Dinar kind of come over.
Look.
Coming to the door.
Good morning.
Good morning. Torque, what color are my
certainly
eyes?
morning.
Oh, this is a test. I fully understand.
What color
Torque closes
are
his
my
eyes. I want to say hazel.
Torque, this is not a test. What color
Oh,
are my
sorry.
eyes?
Torque opens his eyes and looks at Donars and goes, "Oh,
They're fully white.
That's new.
What do you see?
Here, look in the reflective surface of my shoulder."
Excuse me.
Uh,
How long has
Torque.
that been going on?
If I were to wager a guess, probably as long as your eyes and his ears.
Dinar's gonna look past Torque and see Flick's ears.
Yep.
Hey, Flick. That's a neat trick.
What's the trick? Huh?
Your ears doing all wibbly like that.
I had a cousin that could do that.
Wait a moment.
You have a lot of
Talon.
cousins.
It's a
Talon,
lot of
how,
goblins.
Talon, how are you feeling?
Hungover.
So his liver is unchanged. All right.
With
Okay,
the revelation of the other two,
I have
Dinar's gonna
healing
give
magic.
Dinar's gonna give a look over to Talon. Is there anything else physical about his appearance that appears to have changed or is acting differently?
I can give you a perception check if you'd like.
Sure.
Yeah, it's the
That's
weirdest thing.
an 11,
Sorry.
which I believe is the same as my passive. Yep, 11.
Doesn't look any different.
Yeah, why did nothing happen to Talon?
What? You guys like? What are you guys doing? The brandy wasn't that bad. Somebody drugged the brandy. What's going? I'm very confused.
Well, if
Talon?
someone drugged the brandy, then you would be way different.
Talon, give me an insight check.
How I can do that? I'm okay at that. 19.
19.
Jack of all trades, baby.
The same moment where you're realizing, this is weird. These things manifesting in the other three and nothing unusual manifesting in yourself. You remember that you do have a bit of an unusual manifestation that speaks in your mind now and then.
Well, I mean,
Something that nobody else seems to hear.
I just assumed that was
but
madness.
Dinar seems to have whiffed of as you have projected a bit of chaotic aura when that occurs.
Wait, this is my fault.
No, you're with that insight. There's like maybe I already have it.
Oh, so they're catching up. Is there less chaotic, maybe? Ooh, is this an alignment thing? Oh, I'm intrigued.
All I'm picturing is you guys doing the Spider-Man thing, like the
Yeah.
what?
Well, at any rate, can you still see, Captain?
Yeah, in fact, I could probably see better than I could before.
Man, why don't I get superpowers? All I get is voices in my head. I mean, why don't I get any cool powers?
At any rate, I don't think we're going to get any. I don't think we're going to get any answers standing here in this hallway. So perhaps we should continue on with our day and hope that we stumble across the answers later.
Wait.
Flick, do you want like a string or something to tie those back so they're not flopping around so much?
They were already pretty unwieldy to begin with.
And they're making like the cheap radar noise as they go back.
They're almost like they've almost got that like canine kind of like twitch to them. Like they're still long, right? Like they've got that like long droop, but they kind of like move and like turn and stuff. And they're not like sticking up like a rabbit.
He looks like one of those like super articulated like Jim Henson animatronic puppets.
They're not like sticking out or anything. They just where they are, they still just kind of seem to like move a little bit and seem to adjust to sound.
Yeah.
Greg, is there a window in this room?
Yep.
Dinar's gonna walk over to the window and throw open the shutters.
Actually, there has to be windows in all the rooms. So
well, it's Dinar's because we're up on a upper level, or are we on the same?
You're
level
on the second floor. Yeah, you're on the second floor.
So Dinar's going to throw open the shutters and take a look. Does he seem to be able to see farther than normal?
You can see out beyond the harbor, and the boats look very crisp and clear. You would say that the distance hasn't necessarily increased in how far you can see, but you can see everything as though it were closer. So what you would normally have to kind of squint and look at, to catch like, the farthest edge of the dock down there. You still might need to squint a little bit, but not as much, and you can make out. You can see the barrels there. You can see, the orcish figure kind of hauling a barrel over his shoulder and walking along, and it's like clear.
Blake, come here for a second.
Yeah, just hang on a sec. Okay, he just put on fresh bacon downstairs, so if we time this right, we'll get it right off the griddle.
Look, I can't see farther, but details are it's like I'm standing right there. Tell me, there's a guy hauling a barrel down there at the docks. Do you hear that liquid sloshing around in that barrel from here?
And I sort of look down, it's like, because I can't quite make out the detail that you can, but you don't
hear that, but you pick up, you can hear the waves from here, like the creak of the boats. You can pick out a lot of things that normally you'd have to isolate. There's kind of, if you focus on it, there's a lot of like sounds, just little snippets of conversation here and there, laughing. It's just crisp and clear.
That's a real Superman thing going on here.
So again, not necessarily like farther, but just
clear. Yeah,
it's just much more clear. Yeah.
Mark, let's see that patch on your shoulder.
Sir, Captain. Torque will just make it more visible.
Given what little exposure we've had to different sources of Axiom or the Ataxian magic, is this at least the same shade of blue?
It looked very reminiscent of Axiom crystals.
I was gonna say, this is
the
that
texture,
that same crap from the volcano, isn't it?
Yeah, the texture, the shade of it, like the hue. It's yeah.
Well, Kamari did say that we were fractured. Perhaps this is an extension of that.
I would assume it's exactly that. And it's a shame that the experts are unavailable to be consulted.
Mm-hmm. I don't think we should ignore this, but
no.
I also think that there's nothing we can do right now to learn more about the situation. So Perhaps we should.
Keep an eye on it. If it grows bigger, tell your doctor.
Mhm.
I want to know what yours
Isn't he the
does.
I think he is the doctor.
I am the only healer here, so
Right, but he's the surgeon, isn't he?
he is the surgeon. Yes.
It's very good
Alright.
medicine checks.
How? So this reflective shoulder, is it like super visible, or can you mostly hide it under your shell?
I imagine that it's mostly kind of hidden under the
Yeah.
shell, unless I
It's
kind of
not-
like,
It's not like
Oh
super
my-
super reflective. Like it's not like a mirror, right?
yeah.
It's dull enough. Like it's your skin is still kind of visible underneath it or like through it. So it's not like this bright shining blue. Like, hey, I'm here.
It's like a crust.
Yeah. So you could probably hide it easy enough,
Or start wearing vests.
or pass it off as scale damage or anything else. It's
Natural,
not like it's blinking or glowing, right? Like
It's a birthmark. Yeah, the eyes. Denara's eyes are kind of the. We gotta get you some contacts or something. That's really eerie.
Sunglasses.
I don't know. People already look at me kind of funny because of the scales, so
Honestly, most people probably won't even.
that's
Notice,
my thinking.
yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, Torque. Until we know what's going on, Flick, will you do something about those damn ears?
I mean, you do something about yours first.
Keep those sideburns.
Are we
Right. I guess we go down for breakfast.
All right,
Yeah.
let's
don't
go
have any
get some
sideburns.
food.
Oh, Simpsons. All right. As you head down for some brekkie, why don't we take a break?
So I thought you were gonna say. I
yeah.
thought you were gonna say breaky.
Why don't,
We'll take
why don't we
we'll take
have? We will have a fast break.
Yes, we'll have a fast break as you head down for break fast, and we'll come back and pick up from there. So stay tuned. We'll be back shortly to carry on with Torque's encounter pending. Be right back.
Hey Elderbrain Collective, if you've been enjoying our live stream D&D campaign and want to support us, there are many ways you can do just that and we would be super grateful. Seriously, it'd be awesome. First, of course, make sure you're following us on Twitch. Once we get our 50 followers goal, we can make our stream even better with subscriber perks. Then, be sure to follow our Twitter account. Subscribe to our YouTube channel where we post stream VODs as well as additional content coming soon. Of course, you can listen to audio transcripts of our stream on Podbean if that's your preference. Of course, you'll miss out on our handsome faces, but you get our incredible voices, so it's pretty good. You want to hang out with the collective and chat D&D and, well, everything else? Head over to our Discord server. It's open to anyone who wants to join. Finally, we've just launched our Patreon page, which is the optimum and best way to support us. That's redundant, optimum is best. Each tier gets you additional perks, including exclusive Discord emotes, monthly digital content, behind-the-scenes info and creature stats, and, for the truly faithful, you can even gain power over the PCs in-game, live on stream, and have an impact on what happens next. I think that's pretty awesome. We'd love your support. You can find the links to all of our sites on our link tree. Check out linktr.ee/elderbrain, linktree/elderbrain. We hope to see you joining us soon as a member of the collective. Happy gaming, everyone.
Whispers in the window are angry waves. Way ho the sea of souls. Down to the mists as the ocean slaves. Way ho the sea of souls. Way ho the sea of souls. Way sea of souls. Hoist the sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey, ho, it's the sea of souls. Oh, way, ho, the sea of souls. Way, oh, the sea of souls. Hoist the sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey, ho, it's the sea of souls. Hey, ho, it's the sea of souls. Sea of souls.
Greetings, wary travelers. My name is Mike, and I will be playing the role of Dinar Neurixius, Dragonborn wizard on the Sea of Souls. Allow me to get into character and we can learn a little bit more about this pale golden dragon. Being chosen is supposed to be a good thing. Chosen by the gods to serve a purpose. However, it can mean facing a life alone. I was born in our homeland, Drakor, in the east. And though these scales are supposed to be a blessing, I was reviled by so many. I could see their jealousy, could feel their stares. My own people shunned me, and so I left. I still drew stares when I arrived in Stormhaven. It's hard to miss these scales. But the dwarves were far more accepting of me. I learned I could put my magic to good use out on the seas, so I served aboard a ship, adding my arcana to their arsenal. Maybe one day I'll return home. Maybe they will welcome me as Verithan's champion. Or at least, as kin. For now, though, life among the Gungrim is good. I am used to standing out here, used to towering over this good folk. But what they lack in size, they make up for in heart.
Hi, I'm Ian, and I play the goblin Flick Dogslicer, an Eldritch Knight fighter. Once upon a time, there was a goblin named Flick. That's me. He was a good egg, but as a recently emancipated man, he didn't necessarily have the firmest grasp on the rules of free society, and often ended up on the wrong side of the law. So anyway, I'm in this back alley, minding my own business, rooting through the trash, when this old guy in a blue dress and a big floppy hat with stars and crap all over it comes out of nowhere screaming, "Oh my god, it's a goblin," and starts shooting fire out of his hands at me. So I shanked him. I didn't mean to kill him per se, but, heat of the moment and all that. Now, even I knew how this would play out with the guard, so I'm looking for a quick escape. But this old guy didn't even have the courtesy of carrying a coin purse, just this big stupid book. So, yoink, and I beat feet to the pier and sign aboard the first ship that's looking for crew. Long story short, with enough time and patience, even a bozo like me can figure out a little magic from that big old book. I joined a good crew and enjoy my life as a seafaring mercenary, trying to keep ahead of the law and maybe make a coin or two for myself. The end. By Flick.
Greetings, tale seekers and story watchers. I am Devon, medieval enthusiast and D&D veteran since my 11th birthday when I received the 3rd edition starter set. Led to a bit of a collection. I will be playing the part of Tayland Wavesinger, human bard and mariner, master of the weaponized sea shanty. Oh, it'd be alright if the wind was at our sails. Tayland is a man slowly being consumed by his own faults. He drinks far too much, and has quite a ruthless disposition against those he dislikes. But he still tries to do what's right when he can. As for his goals, well, I'll let him tell you. Oh, me name is Tayland Wavesinger, and I quickly tell to you of a man that I am a-hunting across the ocean blue, with power over the sea and sky. Believe me when I say that when I finally find the bastard, it'll be his last day.
In Xanadu did Kublai Khan a stately pleasure dome decree, where Alf, the sacred river, ran, through caverns measureless to man. Down to a sunless sea.
Torque is a Tortle barbarian, presumed to be the sole survivor of the Loggerhead tribe. Even by Tortle standards, Torque is a taciturn individual, never deigning to use 5 words where 2 will suffice, and as such has been less than forthcoming in sharing his personal history with his compatriots. What is known of Torque is that he was discovered on a remote island by a passing merchant vessel, having apparently been marooned there for some years in the wake of a shipwreck which destroyed the rest of his tribe. It is for this reason that Torque holds a special reverence for Desfuna, goddess of the ocean, whom he believes spared his life in the ocean storm that decimated his kin. Having spent the better part of a decade in near total isolation, Torque is unfamiliar with the ways of the modern world, and his social skills are somewhat lacking. It is perhaps for this reason that he has chosen to align himself with allies who are blessed in the gift of gab, as he continues on his pilgrimage, the destination of which is unknown even to himself. Hi everyone, my name is Jack, and I am not a professional voice actor or performer by any means. However, I do have a serious passion for tabletop RPGs, and I hope that you enjoy this upcoming game as much as we're going to enjoy playing it.
All right, welcome back. So we, you calling them scoundrels, Devin? Come on. As we pick up and you head downstairs for some brekkie, unless there's anything particular you guys want to play out for breakfast, we can say that you ate your fill and went on your merry way, but it's up to you.
I assume that Flick got his omelet with extra eggshell.
Only
but
eggshell.
Otherwise, yeah, we move on.
It's an omelet, but it's eggshells. It's like, I don't want the yolk or anything else.
Whiskey in the bowl, you just hear.
And the green in it, that's not spinach. But yeah, if there's nothing super important about the breakfast scene, we can scene wipe, transition, and move on.
Star wipe.
All right. So heading out into the main thoroughfare of Valtear, the sun is shining this morning, and it's nice and warm, breaking through the sometimes chill that comes off of the sea, especially this close and as you get further north. But it is a very warm and pleasant and bright morning.
It's so bright.
The city is awake. People are kind of going about their business. Again, you all do kind of get the odd stare here and there, some lingering glances, but nobody accosts you. Nobody harasses.
Well, I can be listening and just seeing if I can pick up any comments as well.
Certainly. For a listening perception check, give me advantage. Advantage roll on that.
That's what I was looking for. How does a 24 work for you?
How does a 24? All right. You pick up snippets of conversation here and there. You can hear some more private conversations where you're like, don't want to hear that. And
do want to hear that.
A couple of guards talking to each other, just that's boring. And there's a couple of comments, but the comments you hear are mostly just like, I've never seen them before. Did you see that one with the golden scales? Odd. But a couple of them you do hear like commenting on the last time they saw a turtle. Not much more than that, but just like you remember the last time turtles were here and here. Oh. Nobody really says much outwardly about it. They just kind of look and kind of go on their way. And
I think Torque is kind of aware of all the eyes on him, and you see his neck is a little bit shorter than normal because he's like retracted into his shell more.
Turtle. Oh God. Horrible.
So yeah, as we're headed to wherever we're heading to, I will just sort of, hey, little guy, was your old crew, were they all turtles?
They were, yes.
Yeah. The locals remember.
I would be surprised if they weren't. These fortifications were not here last time I saw this place, and I think they may have been constructed because of us.
Well, it's nice to be remembered.
Really?
They're thinking about you. All right, let's get...
Sorry. What did you attack them with? What did you attack them with?
Yeah, just the shout whisper. Well, the usual sort of way. I don't really want to talk about it.
Did you have an armada? Are you a fleet admiral?
I was a quartermaster. Think about what I'm capable of. And then multiply me by 30. I don't really want to talk about it right now.
Yeah, I'm getting the picture. Like, can you imagine 30 torques? Those must be those must be the quietest sea voyages.
That's a lot of torque power right there.
Well,
low turn, but man, you'll get up that hill.
I wasn't always this taciturn. Let's just say that I'm not quite proud of who I was in my youth. Thankfully, Deshuna willing, you'll never have to worry about there being more than one of me, because to my knowledge, the rest of my crew is all dead by her hand.
By her hand.
Deshuna.
Interesting.
It's as I told you, Captain. My previous ship currently resides at the bottom of the sea.
Right.
Divine retribution, one might say. This is her city, her island, after all.
Is that on your to-do list also, a visit there, or are we letting sleeping ships lie?
I don't even know if the remnants of the Black Tongue can be recovered. And if they are, I certainly don't want to return there anytime soon. It's in her domain now. As far as I'm aware or concerned, no further reparations are in order on that front.
All right. All right, this is your rodeo, little guy. Where are we going?
To the temple. Assuming they don't recognize me and turn me away. Or worse.
Hey, you know what? Just say that you're like some kind of conjoined twin who was separated, and now you have this nifty scar.
You're referring to...
Yeah. Can't possibly be the same turtle. That his last turtle didn't have this gnarly thing on his shoulder.
We will keep that idea on the back burner.
Let's cross that bridge if we should get to it.
Hatch that egg when it's necessary.
Sure.
Like one basket. All right. The temple in here, the Tidewater Temple, is very easy to spot, especially in the daylight now, as it is up on one of the high plateaus, and you can see its teardrop dome shape actually kind of glistening in the sun. Getting to it might prove a little bit tricky, as the usual route through, even as you kind of see, you can see where there's stairs kind of leading up on the far cliff sides, and then there's a bridge that arcs over the top. Would normally take you through Hightown, but you can see it obviously, like you can't miss the temple. It's like one of the most prominent features in Valtear.
But to get to the temple, we need to get through Hightown?
As far as you're aware.
Well, Tayland, I suppose this is a 2 birds, 1 stone sort of situation.
Oh, you should refrain from referring to that. Willie gets upset.
How should we go about making ourselves presentable enough to pass?
Well, I feel like would I know if it's only allowed for citizens to enter? Is there some way that they would identify that, like citizenship papers or something?
I can give me a history check if you want.
Sure.
You weren't here very long previously.
No, I don't know if it would have had to have been something I just kind of overheard or noticed. So no, I rolled a 4.
I'm not sure what their
why don't we
protocol for that sort of thing is.
Do we know if it was blocked off? It's only blocked off from visitors entering. Citizens would be allowed to come and go, right? As far as we know.
Yeah, don't know.
Did we ask why it was closed off, or did we just take that at face value?
I think we just took it at face value.
Yeah.
Let's find out why it's closed off then, and see if we can ascertain any kind of information that might tell us what we could maybe do to get in. Because if it's all a matter of getting certain papers or documents, well, I think we can probably pull that off. If it's a matter of just looking like the correct people, I think we might be able to pull that off. If it's a matter of having to sneak in under the cover of fog, then we can do that. But I'd rather save that for last if need be.
We'll say this, we only necessarily need to get 2 people in through the gate. If I can get eyes somewhere inside, I could teleport me and 1 other person.
Oh.
Something that I've been working on. I'm pretty sure I've perfected the ability.
You may want to make sure they don't have any kind of wards or something in there to notice if someone just teleports in.
Well, I wouldn't have any way to do that until I got there, so...
Well, Tayland and I, the 2 of us, have the most pressing business to get into Hightown. Perhaps we should be the ones to attempt to get in first through the conventional way. And if that doesn't work, then maybe we will rethink our strategy.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sounds good to me. Well, I'm assuming there's guards outside the gate. We'll just stroll up, and when they stop us, we'll be like, "Oh, what? No, why? I want to go visit stuff."
Even looking down the main street at this point, the stairs that lead up to the plateau, where the gate in the arch is closed, you do see 2 guards posted directly in front of it. Very well armed and armored.
All right. Well, Torque, shall we go get some information?
Let's shall. I can't believe I'm saying this, but it might be best if you do the talking.
Oh, I've been waiting to hear that my whole life.
try not to get a swelled head about it.
Was it just the two of you that are going?
Hey,
Yeah.
I think
Hey.
while the two of them go, Flick and I will maybe try to spot out a high location. So if it comes to it, I can teleport from there into Hightown.
Out of curiosity,
possible.
actually, I'm gonna talk a little shop with D while those guys head up. How exactly does your spell work? Do you need to see the spot, or you just need to know about it?
Well, seeing would be the safest way to travel. I can mentally think so many meters ahead or so many meters up at an angle, but therein lies the possibility that we teleport into a wall or into the floor or into somebody's dining room while they're eating lunch.
I might have a solution for that then.
Okay.
Well, as the two of you kind of chit chat back and forth and compare spell notes, and then so the other two, as you approach the stairs leading up to the gate, both of the guards, you can see now that they've got one has like a full set of plate armor, which is quite expensive, very hard to come by, and the helmet is kind of up at the moment. But there's like huge, massive, heavy crossbow. And this individual just kind of lowers it, not quite like directly at you, but kind of down, and just kind of watches as you approach. The other individual, more slender, has got a set of very fine, pristine-looking chainmail with some, plated pauldrons and stuff as well. Very, very well outfitted, especially in comparison to sort of your normal city guard.
As they approach, Torque will like kind of straighten his posture, not in like puffing out his chest, trying to look intimidating kind of way, but just straighten out his back, making direct eye contact, just trying to look respectful and not like he's, trying to look, alert and responsive and just like not, just like respectful of the conversation that's about to take place.
Gotcha. The more slender individual, you can see under the hair the typical elven ears kind of sticking up, and sort of a tan colored skin, very bright blue eyes though that are kind of piercing out, and he has a bit of a smaller crossbow but still pretty decent looking, and kind of lowers it down and does a quick look over at the other one, kind of nods and just says, "Excuse me, you do know that Esther is off limits. What is your business?" Just wait. Don't come any closer, please. Just
all right.
What's your business?
On. Now, we're just here to see the city. Why is it closed down? I thought it should be open. There are businesses up there.
Well, the fact that you're asking lets me know right away that you are not local. I'm afraid I can't divulge that information to you, but Hightown is closed. No one in or out. You should find your shopping elsewhere.
In or out?
There are plenty of shops for you in Lowtown. Any other goods that you require at the moment, I'm sorry, but you will not be able to peruse.
Apologies, but we are followers of Disfuna, seeking patronage at the temple. Pilgrimage, rather. Is there any other means to the temple other than through this neighborhood?
His blessings upon you, brother, but we have installed a temporary lift on the other side of the plateau of the temple. That is the only way to get up there at the moment. Pressing matters only. You can make a request there, and it will be up to the temple to decide whether or not you're allowed entrance, but the passage through Hightown is off limits.
Good thing. Well, we won't take any more of your time. I understand that you're probably very busy pointing rifles at perfectly innocent people. Shall we be going, my good friend?
Innocent is a matter of perspective.
Yes.
Carry on.
A recruiting sergeant came one
This
day
wouldn't be with you.
down.
As he leaves.
Little brother.
Can we see the lift in question from our position?
So from where you are, you cannot. The massive, it's sort of like it's a plateau that's like separated from the ones on either side of the city, so that it gets just kind of sticking straight up. and the town kind of like goes like around the base of it and kind of continues on to the southern wall. So from what you gather, since you can't see it, it's probably more around like the south end of town.
Okay, but would it be correct to assume that the lift goes over Hightown on its way to the temple?
Here, I'll show you. So I have a map. That's not one is forthcoming, but you guys are like here. Like this is sort of the main thoroughway or the gate. This is the temple up on the plateau, and the lift is like down by the wall, like over here. So it just goes like straight up the plateau, and this is Hightown over here. So it's nowhere near Hightown.
So it's not like we could theoretically jump off of the lift and land in Hightown.
Okay. No, unless you can jump like 1,000 feet.
Not yet.
Wow.
So
Okay.
yeah, not.
Okay.
Well, that was rather rude of them, wasn't it, Torque? Just randomly trying to keep us out as if we were trying to sneak our way in or something.
But we are trying to sneak our way in.
Well, yeah, but they don't know that.
At any rate, we may need to rethink our plan. Although I realize that I could now get to the temple by other means, I have agreed to help you accomplish your goals as well. So,
I mean, if we really need to get in, I can always just conjure up a wicked fog storm that will cover us. I would just rather not have to resort to that if we don't need to, because, well, it's not the most subtle thing.
when is the last time you were in Valtear, Tailend?
Just before we picked you up, actually.
So whoever or whatever you came here to search for, you believe it is still there in Hightown?
All I know is there's a chance, and at this point, I'm grasping at whatever straws are going to present themselves.
A chance
Also, let's
is
just
reason
say
enough for me.
Let's just say my curiosity's been piqued a little as to this whole lockdown thing. I don't like people telling me where I am and am not allowed to go.
Well, a chance is reason enough for me.
Triggers trauma.
We'll get you in there one way or another. I guess for now we'll
Wear masks
reconvene.
to get in.
I guess now we'll reconvene with the others, and Torque will relay everything that we've just learned.
I mean, we can always check out the lift. If it's as important as Torque says it is, we could probably at least get an audience of some kind, and from there, we're already darn near close to the inside anyway.
Maybe getting into Hightown with the temple as a starting point might be easier in some ways.
Kind of what I'm
Yep.
thinking too.
Go to the bathroom, slip out the window. Now we're in Hightown.
Then
Not
it's
a
just a
terrible
matter of
idea,
acting
yeah.
like we belong there. And as far as I understand, getting out will be tricky too, but I feel like that should be a little bit easier to do.
Maybe this is one of those situations where asking for forgiveness is better than asking permission.
That's every situation, Dinar.
At any rate, let's go investigate this lift and see if they will be willing to help a group of Disfudent followers on a pilgrimage.
Oh.
Is that what we are now? All right.
Making your way to the south end of Lowtown.
Sorry.
No, go for it.
I just wanted to ask Taylor one other question.
Aye, sir.
Now, remembering that way back when Torque was treating Talon for his illness, he did catch a glimpse of Talon's necklace. He will just kind of whisper to Talon, now I know that your faith lies elsewhere,
Such as it is.
I don't know much about your god, but I'm sure that whoever they are most likely willing to allow this deception of you pretending to be having allegiance to another god.
To be honest with you, Torque, I don't much care what Mirentha thinks at the moment.
I just noticed you seemed somewhat uncomfortable when I used that line to try and get past the gate. I wasn't sure if that was the reason.
It just brings up old wounds.
My apologies.
And Flick pokes his head between the two of you as you're having this tete-a-tete. It's like, and listen, the goblin gods, they love the lying, the cheating, the stealing, and the sneaking, so they're all on board with this.
Flick, your ears are wrinkling my pants.
Yes, he has been hearing your supposed private conversation. He is picking up on it all. You got to talk quieter with this guy around now.
Don't worry. If we need to, I can be the perfect holy worshiper. Let's do this.
Perhaps it's a good thing that I laid myself bare the way I did last night. I feel like with Flick around, it might be difficult for us to keep any secrets for a time.
Like it was easy before now? Like, come on.
I mean, it's a good thing Flick doesn't talk or anything.
All right. Sorry about that, Craig. We'll go to the lift now.
The lift becomes very apparent as you approach and get sort of to the backside or the other side of the plateau. And from what you can see, it essentially is more or less a cargo lift, like a platform that is held by a series of thick ropes and pulleys that just lifts you from the bottom up sheer 200 feet cliff to the top where the temple is. And at the bottom there is a pair of individuals, not just in armor, but more sort of vestments, not like a robe, but you can see the symbol of Desfuna. The trident primarily that's emblazoned on both of their garb. And they're just kind of standing there. At the moment, they both just kind of, like, one's leaning up against the edge of the cliff, and they're just kind of seem to be bored. And as you approach, they just kind of stand up a little bit straighter and just don't even say a word. They just kind of watch as you come. You just kind of look at each other and just go,
Good morning.
Desfuna's blessings upon you, my good people. We are currently pilgrims on our way to receive the blessing of our dear Wave Mother, and we would be very grateful if you could just offer us a glimpse of her glorious beauty, which has so blessed this town. I want to point out the fact that Tayland has fully switched. Like this is like a 180, and it's very weird.
Oh, I understand.
The Catholic school upbringing has fully kicked in.
Give me a deception check with disadvantage, please.
Ooh. Come on, Tayland.
Would you like my first 25 or my second 25?
Wow.
That's 2 19s.
That happens a lot. That is statistically weird.
I know, right? It's so strange. They kind of look at each other, and you see one of them mouth.
Wave Mother.
That's some sort of. Do they call it that somewhere else? Oh, Wave Mother. You say that you're pilgrims?
Indeed, my good people. We are traveling through the Isles here, and we've understood that the temple here is one of the most beautiful of Desfuna's children. We are blessed to even be here, but would prefer to receive the blessing in person from either a priest or perhaps worship the altar for even just a moment.
The only temple of Desfuna. Who are you really?
My good friend here, and I'll gesture to Torque, is, of course, one of our greatest priests. Show them your holy symbol, and present to them the scriptures of which you are so fond of telling us.
Torque will.
you are not. You don't even seem to know the ways of our faith, so you can
As
just.
this happens, Torque will
leave
drop
now,
his
please.
anchor, and Torque will put his anchor down on the ground in front of him, and then he will enter a rage as electricity crackles around his body and sparks off as he just kind of bows his head and says, "I am the rising tide. I am the crashing wave. My heart is yours. My will is yours."
You see the two, they back up instantly at this as the electricity kind of crackles around. But there's a moment where they kind of look at you, and then one of them closes their eyes like, apparently we are expecting you. He looks at Talon. You should have just let him talk. He's supposed to be here. If you're gonna fake being part of a faith, do your research, eh? Talk
He's
like
he's newly converted. He's a little confused, but he has the spirit.
I would say that. You drop the whole like thee thou scripture holy, like that's not really the way that she works. Anyway,
I grew up.
These three are with you. Pointing to Torque and kind of looking at the other three.
They are, yes. They will be accompanying me.
Very well. I was told that, a message from on high is where was given that we should be expecting, you, I guess. Right this way. I hope the lift can hold all four of you. A couple of you are rather large individuals. I'm sure it'll be fine. As you can see, like it's thick ropes and stuff, but the platform it's like planks held together with like wooden. It's all wood.
Each one of us steps on.
A little bit of a creak, yeah.
This looks perfectly safe.
Torque.
Yes.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but at some point, could you maybe run through exactly how Desfuna is worshipped?
So I can think of it better.
Correct, yes.
That's the interesting thing, isn't it? I actually haven't spent much time around other followers of Desfuna.
I've only spent followers around Marentha, so in a priory. They're a little priestly.
Rising up.
I realize that this is likely dredging up some difficult memories for you. I appreciate your willingness to see this through, in spite of your discomfort.
I don't know. If the Sfuna worshippers are more like you and less like the people that I associated with, I think I might get along with them a lot better than I thought.
Well, you've already met at least two, myself included. As Torque just boards the lift.
As the lift rises, you can see now that it's the gears and stuff that lifted are not at the bottom. There's actually, they seem to be at the top, but those at the bottom seem to just kind of pull a couple of ropes that give a signal up top, and it just starts rising. The ropes do, like, they are spaced out enough. It's not just one like single rope in the middle, so that's like swinging around. It does seem to be fairly evenly balanced. But between the four of you, especially the two large ones, you have to kind of like balance yourselves, like maneuver yourselves on the lift to even out the weight so that it's not like lopsided. Because so Dinar and Torque, you large boys, so
Mostly the shell.
does shift a little bit.
As we go up and sort of get a view of, the
Low town.
the low town and then high town off to the side, like Torque will kind of like try and take in the surroundings to see if he can spot anything that would, be used, like getting a lay of the land if we do need to sneak into Hightown later, like seeing what he can see from the lift ride.
So from this side of the plateau, your view of Hightown is blocked. You can see Lowtown and the harbor. You do see on the very far side, on the north side, the plateau there, you can see a very large fortified castle up above, which you do remember from before, with some more improvements, but this would be the main keep of the Vale families, the rulers of this city to town. But it does look to have been improved somewhat as well, and it's way up. The plateau that it's on is even like another 100 feet higher than the one you're going up to. Looking down at Lowtown, from this point as you're going up Torque, you can see in the midst of the buildings that have to be constructed, there's still some outlines of like ruined foundations and the like. There's still some spots where there's a little bit of rubble kind of mixed in that seems to be left over from a certain raid. Giving you a little bit of a reminiscent flashback. But they do seem to have fortified and rebuilt quite well. As the lift reaches the top, there's another two individuals at the waiting at the top there. One of them is more armored, not like quite as much as the guards, but has a long spear in one hand, and sort of just like it's a little bit flimsy sort of chain, but they're trying. It seems to be there more for show than it wouldn't really do much against experienced adventurers, but against the common person, it would offer a decent amount of protection. And as you kind of step off the lift, noticeably the two of them, Torque, they kind of bow to you and just kind of give an arm towards the entrance of the temple and say nothing.
Torque looks kind of uncomfortable, but will proceed.
Flick says, sort of, happily waving to everyone as we pass. May her dampness be upon you, and so on. Just
Torque will just kind of sidle up to Flick and just say under his breath, just, nothing about this feels right.
And it's not supposed to feel damp and clammy?
No, it's not that.
Yeah.
They revere me. They should despise me. I was a conqueror, a murderer.
And you're the one who...
This respect that they treat me with is completely unearned.
Don't you hear the voice of Desfuna in your head, though?
Sometimes.
Yeah, well...
Yeah, if your god can change you from a conqueror to a devout worshiper, then you feel like champion material to me, buddy.
I am merely an instrument to achieve what needs to be done. This reverence placed on me is completely both unnecessary and unearned. Perhaps if I actually achieve what I've set out to do, then... No. Forget I said anything. As we'll just continue towards the temple.
This guy literally has people revering him as he walks their hallowed halls, and he's complaining about it.
As you continue along the path, kind of circling around towards the front of the temple, which is the tip of the teardrop, which is kind of facing east, and then the larger part faces west. You can see the main bridge that leads over to another plateau that then there's a road there that kind of, you can see where it leads to some steps that would lead down towards Hightown. As you get closer to the entrance, you can see over the edge now, down into Hightown. Give me a perception check. I'd say Dinar could do this with advantage.
Okay. Are we all making the check, though?
Whoever would like.
Okay. I guess I'll give it a shot.
Geek
22 for me.
I'm definitely looking.
10. I cannot see over the walls.
I'm definitely looking around and
What is it? What is it?
Comparing this to
The Priory?
to the Priory, yeah.
You said perception?
Yeah.
Well, I think Dinar is maybe too focused on the ornate temple. He rolled an 8 and a 9. So 10 is my highest. 11 is my passive.
Okay. So we'll say that Torque and Talon, then, you can make out an interesting scene below. The streets of Hightown are completely deserted. The homes are a mix between sort of middle class, moderate wealth, and as you get closer towards sort of the back, kind of deeper in, as this plateau actually seems to kind of rise up a little bit. And so at the very, very highest point, before this cleft goes deeper in, where the river kind of flows out, there's a river flowing right through it. You can see the much nicer homes, the manors of the higher nobility, and there's nobody around. You can see some guards in a couple of spots, mostly on rooftops, but the streets are completely empty. Off to the northern side, so against the northern cliff face, you see what appears to be a older looking structure kind of built into the cliff face itself, and you can see some like carved stone pillars, and there's sort of a big archway, and it really much, it looks like a sort of a crypt entrance or a mausoleum. It kind of has that feel to it. And at the entrance to it, the ground is just covered in blood. You can even see it from here. There's dried blood. There's just like splatterings everywhere. And you see a couple of guards actually come running out, and then two more from the side kind of run back in. And you just see this kind of back and forth, and there's just blood and gore just covering the
dried blood, you said?
There's old blood, there's fresh blood. It's the front of this, the entrance to this place is just chaos and gore, whereas everywhere else in Hightown it's like quiet. There's nobody in the streets. Everything is just dead silent and locked down.
Exactly what I was expecting.
You were expecting this?
No.
Wait, not exactly. The not did.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, I see.
So it's like exactly what I was expecting. Wait, you've been reading my notes? So for perspective, if I can kind of show it in here. So you guys are like up on this plateau here, and you're looking across here. There's like a entrance in the side of this wall. So you're looking down from up here, looking down onto, this is all Hightown in here, and you can see the entrance in that wall there.
Looking around, are there any like Disfunin priests or anything? Is there anyone else like in our area right now that Tor could like call over and ask what's happening?
There is one other individual standing at the front entrance of the temple, an elven woman with very, very short cropped, kind of like a auburn red hair, and one of her ears actually looks like it's been kind of the tip of it has been cut. There's like a big kind of cut out of it, like a scar, and she's just kind of standing there.
You there? What's happening in Hightown?
You don't know. Obviously, you're not. Well, I've never seen you around, so you're definitely not locals. I can't really say. I'm sorry.
Can't or won't?
Both. I'm not permitted. Apologize.
Not permitted by Edward Vale, I presume?
I can't say. I'm sorry. If you're here for temple business, then please you may enter, but as for what's going on down there, to be honest, I'm not entirely sure myself, so I don't want to speak even the little that I know, but I'm also not allowed, so...
Torque.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to talk about it.
Yeah, let's leave them alone. Come here for a sec.
Or sidles over, kind of like bends his knees to get down on like Talon's level.
Oh, hello. I could send a little birdie. Kind of get the lay of the land, see what might be going on.
Whatever this is, it's obviously something ongoing. If it gives us any information that might be beneficial, I wouldn't be against it. How far can your bird go before your connection is severed?
100 feet. But he can go out there, look, and then come back. And then I can receive what he saw, providing he survives. If he doesn't survive, I just have to summon him up again. But effectively, like, I won't be able to see anything most likely. That's more than 100 feet, right? Like, that has to be.
Oh yeah, like 1,000 at least. You're going down like 200 feet and then like across the city to the other side. So
I send him out there. He'd be out there for a couple minutes, look around, and then come back, and then I could get the information. It wouldn't be perfect, but it would be at least better than what we have here.
And if Willie doesn't come back, then we know that there's definitely something serious going down.
Well, yeah, because he would just look like a bird. Like,
yeah.
So I don't know. That's what I got. I don't know if anybody else has. I don't know if Dinar has any kind of weird divination things he can do.
No, I'm not a cleric, so divination is not exactly something I can do.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, I mean, yeah, if that's what we want to do, we can do that. I can do that.
That'd be the best way to get some more information right now.
Alrighty.
Oh, Talon, allow me.
Oh.
I pull out my big book and I open it up to the middle where I tucked the origami crane that I folded a couple of days ago.
Ooh.
I say, kid, you're up. And the wings on the origami crane kind of flitter a little bit, and it flits out of the book. Go see what you can see, all right? And off it flies.
Very nice. If you don't mind, I think sending 2 birds for one proverbial stone. Yes.
I had to show off a little bit there. All right.
Absolutely. That was lovely. Capture
I appreciate the
wild
showmanship,
things
right?
and bring them in line.
And I guess while we wait on that, we'll proceed into the temple.
I like to think that
2
they're
birds
dancing around in the sky as they make their way
over. So as you kind of send them out, so Talon, especially with your passive, like you did notice that there were a couple guards on rooftops down there, and you see one of them just kind of look up and pulls out a spyglass actually, and just kind of looks up and was like,
"Your mind's inconspicuous."
From this distance, it just looks like 2 birds, but it's just like. And then just kind of,
beautiful plumage.
Just kind of points to another guard. They just kind of point up and look. It's just like, hey, look at those 2 birds up there. Yeah, they're flying in circles, eh? Yeah, must be some turns or something. Because see how they turn? Yeah, he's doing the dance. Yeah.
Turn, an Arctic turn.
They don't seem to be. Yeah, like just a couple of birds. So are you looking through them, or are you just letting them kind of come back and?
No, we won't be able to look. I can't look through them up to 100 feet. I don't know if Flick has any additional.
No, so I'll look as far as I can, but it won't get us very far.
Yeah, I would agree with. I would basically want to do the same thing. I think, yeah.
So yeah, going out 100 feet basically from where you are, you can kind of get more of a like a perspective from a little bit higher above. Realistically, they don't see much more than what you'd already seen.
Yeah.
Just with the gore and stuff, they'd have to get pretty close to be able to really make out more, because especially so the archway, like it goes into the cliff, so they'd have to be like down to really get a better view kind of in what's going on. But even just looking straight down from where they are 100 feet out, it solidifies that understanding you have that the streets are bare. There's like, you don't see.
So it looks
other
like
than the few guards that are posted, there's no one else moving about anywhere.
Right.
So it appears there's been some sort of bloody siege at the doors of the temple, and that's weird. All right. Well, I will give the boys a couple of minutes. I guess they don't have to fly back. We can just recall them.
True. You're right.
So we'll do our business and then sort of bring them back and debrief.
Go into the temple.
Torque, this is the second time that you've been here. Although this time it's for much different purpose. It has been well repaired. Some new additions here and there as well. A couple new murals that have been painted and put up, and you can see one is a very vibrant display of a storm, like a brutal storm, but there's still a beauty in how it's being portrayed. And on the opposite, it's the opposite of that. It's a very calm sea, kind of seen from just underneath the water, like, you know, where there's that sunlight kind of filtering through, and it's kind of a half and half, and it just shows like the kind of the two sides of the same coin, right? That Desfuna, she is both, right? She's the raging sea and the still water, and it really gives that sense of completeness of who she is, and you know, neither the evil or the good of it, that there's just the ocean. The floor is a bluish green marble that the pattern kind of swirls and moves like waves, and it's all very natural looking though. It has this really serene feel to it, and even as you walk in, those of you with, you know, kind of boots, or even with your clacking nails, it just kind of gives that hollow echoing throughout the place. And there's several doors off to the side that obviously lead into sort of side chambers and everything, but the center of the temple is just an aisle that leads straight past multiple pillars, and as you progress towards the front, each pillar becomes more and more ornate until there's coral wrapping around them, and you know, one's got like a seahorse kind of motif with, you know, different corals and crustaceans kind of coming out of it as well, and they just become more and more elaborate and detailed. At the very, very front, there is a simple circular dais that's raised about 3 feet, and instead of a sort of traditional altar, there's an open clamshell, and in the middle of the open clamshell there's just a soft blue light that is just kind of glowing. And with her back turned to you, you can see that there is a priestess standing there. Not who you're expecting, Torque. Not the individual that you were expecting to be here. And as you close in, she turns around and she appears to be a bit of a younger elvish woman, very light blonde hair and sort of dark green eyes. And she turns and gazes upon the four of you. I have been informed that Desfuna's champion would be arriving. And she looks directly at you, Torque. From what I hear, I'm assuming that would be you. No offense to the other three.
No, lady, I called it.
Much taken.
I sort of clap him on the back of the thigh, like, go get him, Tiger.
Apparently, you assume correctly.
I find it curious. I was given notification of your arrival by my predecessor, who is not here at the moment. she claims to have heard a divine calling to expect you. And she passed it on to me.
This
It's a very
is
curious situation.
This is unfortunate. I suspect that your predecessor is the person that I felt I need to speak to. However, if our meeting instead is the will of Desfuna, then who am I to question it?
Yes, the will of Desfuna. Who are you here to see? And what is your name?
I am Torque Loggerhead, and I have come seeking Tonshu Vale.
It would interest you to know that Tonshu is currently incarcerated.
I'm sorry?
He's in prison by the will of her nephew, Lord Vale. I am her replacement, also by the will of Lord Vale.
Getting the impression this Lord Vale guy is not so nice.
Why was she in prison? For what reason?
I was not informed. Something to do with traitorous, mutinous thoughts and ideas. That is all I was informed of.
If you were appointed by Lord Vale, is it possible that you could speak to him on our behalf, perhaps arrange a visitation in whatever prison she's currently interred in?
And why would I do that?
I feel I have an overwhelming need to speak to her.
Vague. I am High Priestess of Desfuna. Lord Vale is... Well, the Vale family are also servants of Desfuna who have ruled this city for hundreds of years. For me to go against Lord Vale's will, well, I don't exactly want to find myself sharing a cell with my predecessor. That would not be good for, well, anybody, especially in the temple.
So,
without a leader, this dark time.
So Lord Vale has forbade any contact with the prisoner during her incarceration.
That is what I have been instructed.
I apologize. I did not mean to undermine your authority here, Your Holiness.
Can I ask you something?
Go ahead.
Been here before?
Once. Many years ago. I see that things have changed much since then.
In this one visit, were you accompanied by others like yourself?
The last time I came to this temple, I came alone.
Doesn't quite answer my question. An answer without an answer. Clever.
Perhaps I shall prey upon what Desfuna's will is. If it truly is her will that you and Tanshu speak, then I will listen to the lady. But understand I have my doubts. Many claim to hear the will of Desfuna. Few actually do.
I shall patiently await whatever answers you receive.
Excellent. And where might I find you to relay the lady's decision?
We are presently staying at the Brine and Dine in Lowtown.
Fair enough. Now, I must commune. You will excuse me, please.
And she just turns around like her back to you.
Thank you,
Stands
Your Holiness.
before the altar and doesn't respond.
Easy. Think they put us up in a waiting room or something here. Gee.
Hey, Torque.
Or just gives everyone a look and like gestures to the door as if to say like we should go.
I take back what I said about me getting along with the Spooner worshippers.
Something about this feels wrong. I don't know what Tanshu was imprisoned for, but something tells me it was for less than justified means.
Who's this Veil guy we keep hearing about? He sounds like a real dick.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that new priestess lady there, she is not embracing the moistness at all. That's
I would be interested to know if Tantu Vale was incarcerated for mutinous and treacherous thoughts against Desfuna or against Lord Vale.
And this replacement, she was appointed by Lord Vale, is probably in his pocket as well. Although I don't want to make any assumptions that would borderline on, I guess, heresy. Sorry, 1 second.
Heresy can be fun.
if we are somewhat.
All I know is that the timing of this seems suspect, at least.
Well, no. Everywhere we go, there's always some weird thing going on. It just seems like the entire world's gone to hell.
And keeps chasing us out of town. It's weird.
Or going to hell.
If we are somewhere remotely private, Flick will cup his hands together and recall his familiar to his hand.
And on what was never your right to confine.
No one, there doesn't even anybody else. Like if you're like walking out of the temple, there's just the one elf, like the woman who's at the front. But
and so, yeah, she'll just be sitting in my palm, sort of, flexing her wings, sort of like a butterfly almost.
I am going to make sure that no one from the church sees me recall my familiar, because I don't want them to see that what I'm doing is technically divine magic.
Oh, by the way, introductions. Everyone, this is Paige. Paige, this is the guy.
Very good name.
And Ian, that's inspiration. That's inspiration right there, man.
Turn the page.
Brilliant.
Page the turn.
Page, is that Page with an I?
Page the turn. It has to be a turn. It has to be a turn.
Like turn the page.
Yes. Yes.
That's now exactly what it is.
Oh,
perfect.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much.
All right, kid. Let's see what you saw, and I will go for a quick replay there.
Margarita.
Amazing.
Yeah, we'll both pull back in and see what they saw.
Okay. More or less the same of what you had witnessed. There's seems to be a regular sort of back and forth of guards kind of entering into this archway. A couple coming out, a couple going back in, and it seems to be sort of in regular intervals. A few of them do seem to be coming out wounded or holding themselves tired, kind of coming out and collapsing. So there's obviously a fight of some sort that is going on in whatever this place is. But they weren't able to get any more detail without getting significantly closer.
What do you make of this, Flick?
I mean, there's something going on out there, but we don't have a hell of a lot of details still.
I was hoping to get a little bit more than that.
But you know, I've seen through her eyes. I got a good idea of where things are. I could describe a spot to you, D, if you want to.
Maybe it'd be better if I describe it to him, because I feel like your descriptions could be easily misconstrued.
Well, we can both give him a good idea. Of
Maybe that's what we'll do. I'm just thinking you say the wall that kind of looks, the wall with a bit of graffiti that kind of looks like that wart I found in my uncle that one time is not an apt description for Dinar.
I mean, fair. I will. We can compile our efforts and paint a good word picture of what that place looks like.
The street shaped like that stick I found one time when I was rummaging around in a dirty cave. You know, like these. I
mean, it was a good stick.
Let's maybe get on with the explanation then.
You're looking to relay a spot that.
So potentially, like if Dinar wants to be able to teleport to somewhere, do we have enough information to describe a place that he could accurately go to? I guess is the question.
I'd say so. I mean, there's a lot of, sides of houses. There's some alleys, between buildings. There's a lot of unoccupied places because pretty much the entire district seems to be.
Yeah, so empty. Pick a corner.
You can tell, other than the guards, so you can kind of pick out where the guards are, and what their vantage point would be. And so, yeah, I'd say given a bit of a conversation, it wouldn't be too hard to find a spot that would be out of view of the rooftop guards.
Now that would churn through a ton of your resources to ferry us all in there, but
it would have to be in the closer end of things because you're looking at 500 feet for your distance, so it would be.
Yeah,
more the south end of Hightown. And on the south end, actually, if you're looking down, kind of if you get really close to the edge, you can see that there's like a bit of a small, not really a lake, it's more like a pond, but there's a bit of a river that just kind of drops off the edge of the high plateau and drops into a pond there that kind of flows back out down into Lowtown.
For the record, I could do this.
That area is much more open, so there's less cover there. And then, so if you're looking for more cover, you want to kind of go like sort of the middle of Hightown.
Just for the record, I could take one person once a day.
There's a lake. Right there.
I mean,
you can teleport in and teleport back, but that's it. That's all I could do.
If need be, I could find my own way down there.
That's what I was thinking. I could take one person that perhaps doesn't have a way of getting there themselves.
That would probably be me. I'm not exactly as subtle as the rest of you.
It's going to take a lot of energy and focus to bring you along. It works better with somebody my size, but...
I think he just called you fat.
Not. I called you formidable, sizable.
With a PH.
Called you formidable.
Amazing.
That's a 10-cent word for fat, by the way.
Oh, the wordplay.
It's mostly the shell.
Exactly.
Flick, do you have a way I guess you could always Indiana Jones your way down there.
Yeah, I mean,
Is the spell restricted by weight?
It's restricted by size of creature, so technically you and I are the same size. But
Technically.
just flavor text, you are bigger than Dinar. So
Yeah.
You're all medium. Except, well, you're medium and then Flick is small, so.
Oh, sorry.
I guess
now you can read it.
How close is the tallest building in Lowtown to the lowest point in Hightown?
There is there's a purposeful gap between the wall on the ridge of Hightown and the building, so like none of them abut right up against the wall. So strategically, you can see that they've actually left a bit of a running gap there. There's some alleys and stuff that go in there. So you're probably looking at about 40 to 50 feet of a gap between a rooftop of significant height, like of high enough height that would go over, like reach anywhere near the top of the wall.
Because what I'm looking to do is, if I can, as Devin said, if I can Indiana Jones a little bit, swing my way out, and then Misty step the rest of the distance to get onto the wall or get up into there. That's kind of the ideal. But if the distances don't work out, then I might be stuck climbing or something weird.
I mean, you're not terrible at that either, though.
No, just might be a little more time consuming than instantly appearing where I want.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious to anybody looking. Yeah.
Are we looking to go in there right now?
My curiosity has well and justly been piqued, let's put it this way, and I certainly don't seem to. I don't like any of the sound of this Vale fellow, and our Torque buddy here is quite depressed. I mean, look at his face.
Okay, I don't know how much longer we'll have to wait on this prayer either. So,
well, it's
not like we have anything else on the docket at the moment.
I mean,
to that point,
Captain paid for 2 weeks. You might as well get our money's worth.
To that point, though, we are waiting to hear from somebody. If we're not there, what happens when they try to reach us and they can't? Now they're looking for us.
Here's a suggestion. What if we split up? One scouting party goes and takes a look into Hightown to see if anything can be sussed out and pulls out if things become too dangerous, while the other stays behind and awaits a response from the church.
Torque would likely have to be one that waits for the response, because I feel like they're really just going to want to talk to you. I don't think they care about us at all. And if you're not there, the first thing they're going to do is say, "Where's Torque?"
Yes.
And then we have to lie, and then it gets tricky.
Captain, with myself excluded then, you say that you can get into Hightown. Who would you rather have with you there?
Well, I'd rather have Flick.
Captain! Oh.
That's true. He is slightly better at keeping a low profile.
However, given the task...
That's just because he's low.
Given the task, I'd rather have Serena.
Wow.
Look, if we're going in to be sneaky, who better than somebody who can literally do that?
I mean, you glow. Are you really the best to be going in sneaky?
But I can get her in, and then I can be the escape out.
The question is, though, is that will she be cooperative on this? She has been very vocal about the fact that she does not consider herself to be a member of our crew.
No, but I have to imagine she'd be interested to know what's going on.
To Tayland, she's been very outspoken about being not part of the crew. Yeah, I think if Tayland was going in with her, this would be Tayland's dead body on the spit.
You think in a one-on-one that you may be able to...
I could take her.
Cooperate.
I think that she might be more willing to go in with me than with Tayland, yes. But if she's not an option, then I think I'd rather go in with Flick. No offense, Tayland. No offense,
I'm okay at sneaking around. I snuck around a lot as a kid. I only got caught a couple times.
What it means is there's okay at sneaking around, and then there's assassins sneaking around.
Well, yeah. Obviously, the assassin's going to be infinitely better than me.
So I'm wondering if we present this to her, say we can drop you off, and you just hang around and wait for her to come back, and then take her back.
Yeah, I can get close enough to be in viewing distance, and then she moves in the rest of the way.
I mean, look, if it really is a thing, if you do want a little bit extra support, I could get in with you and be incredibly inconspicuous. I just wouldn't be as helpful. And I can get out on my own.
Well, and technically, Flick could get out on his own as well. With his Misty Step, with his whip, there's other ways to get out. I could get us out faster, more direct.
Yeah, I can also get myself out faster, more direct. Point is, I might just, you know what? Don't worry about it. You do you.
So we schmooze Serena, see if she's willing to do a little recon.
I think this might be something she's interested in learning about. Yeah.
I think it is. I also think that, honestly, at this point, if we don't trust her, like, we're not going to trust anybody.
No.
She gave us free magic items, a ton of information, and helped us fight stuff. Like, I don't know what else.
Yeah, my concern is less about trust and more about, like, how do we make it worth her while? But yeah, if Dinar thinks
she seems to like information.
That's true.
She was curious about the ruins. She'll be curious about what's going on here.
And whoever she does work for might be interested in that information as well. So, yeah,
she may even already know something about what might be going on here.
That's also true.
All right, that sounds like a plan then. We'll Hey, Captain, did you give the crew shore privileges, or are they all like locked up on the boat?
I assume they were staying at the same tavern as us.
Well, somebody's got to guard the ship, so I didn't exactly give them shore leave.
Yes, it can guard the ship.
It's okay. We put the air conditioning on. We put the AC on. We roll down the windows. They're all listening to their favorite CD.
Serena wouldn't really care. She would go where you get the idea. Like, she would just do whatever she wants anyway. So
yeah. So hardest part might be tracking down Serena at this point.
But maybe if we say her name enough times, she'll just manifest in front of us anyway.
Is that a vanish?
Already here? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, Trillium, we cracked a porthole for them.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
They have water. They're listening to their favorite music.
Let's say this little tablet that's telling all the passersby that they're okay.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Well, I guess we're going back towards the ship.
Okay. All right then. As you prepare to head back to the Radiant Dawn to track down Serena and converse with her about the possible breach into Hightown. Awesome. That is where we will wrap it up for this evening, and we will pick it up there next time.
Intrigue and mystery.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I did see some new names in there, just lurking in chat as well. So welcome. And if you enjoyed what you saw, then please follow us and join our Discord, where you can hang out with us, and you'll get first pick at seeing our Octobrain creation, which is awesome. And just another reminder, I plugged at the beginning, but do check out that Humble Bundle, Stand with Ukraine package. It's a really awesome thing. You get so many good items there, and it all goes towards helping people in Ukraine, which is really needed right now. So do check that out. But until next time, happy gaming, everyone, and we'll see you later.
Good night.
Bye-bye.